Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Bobby Trippett.
And I'm Chuck Rodriguez.
And today we're talking about 1981's Kill and Kill Again.
It's enough to put you off potatoes forever.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Where said it, knocker?
I don't know. This book ain't got no real rhythm. We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell would women live? I'm horny. And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
It's for jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get cream. And
So guys, we're here with, one of the Grindbin 4 that there are only 3 of. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a special occasion. Finally, after all this time.
Chuck, we convinced you to join us, and you have picked the movie Kill and Kill Again. As I always say to guests on their first time, and they've picked the movie, explain yourself.
For Kill and Kill Again, I thought you might have me on here to explain myself for stuff like, Jekyll and Hyde together again. But
we'll get into that.
Pay for my crimes.
We will have the trial of Chuck Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. Let's just go through some of the famous upchucks that have been on the show. Okay, first we have Jekyll and Hyde.
You're welcome.
Yeah, which I own a DVD of. So thanks for that, Chuck.
So do I.
Actually,
Sweet.
I believe I sent that out to somebody as a Blair Vember gift. I did mail that to somebody. You also suggested Night Patrol, which Chris Mann and I notoriously loved.
Yeah.
Well, there was a secret up, Chuck, is that you picked a long time ago, and I never mentioned it because I gave you a secret pick, was Breaking All the Rules.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Zamboner and Friends, yes.
Yes, Zamboner Friends. See, that's a little secret, is that sometimes Patreon members and members of the Grindbin 4 get secret picks that nobody ever knows about, and that is a famous up, Chuck. I love that movie, though, Chuck. That was a fun one to do.
I'm glad, because I love that one a lot, too.
Yeah, for some reason, Chuck keeps getting special treatment around here.
Well, he is one of the Grindbin 4 that there are only 3 of.
I'm holding the 3 fingers up right now. You can't see it, but it's there.
But, Chuck, I have to say, you have totally redeemed yourself with what might be one of my favorite movies of all time on the Grindbin.
We need to come up with, what the opposite of an upchuck is.
Yeah, I don't know. You put me on the spot, but my yes and is not working at the moment, Bobby.
It's okay. This episode doesn't come out for a few weeks.
That's true. I'll think of a joke and insert it right here.
Oh, man, Mike, that is exactly what we'll call these. Boy, howdy.
So I have to say, though, Chuck, that this movie, again, you've totally redeemed yourself, and I will ask you to explain yourself, but just before I mention, this was on the Patreon poll for what? I think it was not May, but April?
It was somewhere back there, yeah, and I was hoping so badly, and I can't remember what won that poll.
I think Galaxy of Terror won,
yeah.
And after I watched this, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Kill and Kill Again, baby, come on.
You know what's funny? When I first read the title, when it was on the Patreon poll, I didn't realize which movie this was. I thought for some reason this was some kind of Giallo film, like a Bava, and just by the title.
Naturally, yeah.
But oh, what a surprise this ended up being.
Oh, this was a real delight. But Chuck, why don't you tell us why this movie? Why did you want this on the Grindbin?
Well, this goes back to my youth way back when. I'm an old guy. So say it's about 1982 probably. As a kid, I found this movie on HBO. It played all the time. Back then we had HBO and regular TV. That was it. But it was constantly on. It caught my eye. And I was never, even now, I'm not really a big karate, kung fu movie lover. But this one, I don't know what it was about this movie, but it grabbed my attention and I just fell in love with it. And then it was hard. I could never find this movie anywhere for years on VHS. And it was like a lost thing until just recently. I found it on the 30th anniversary DVD. And I rewatched it wow, this is just as good as I remember and even more, and a lot more cheesier than I remember, but fun. And I thought it was perfect Grindbin material. And I'm glad that we finally get a chance to go over it. I'm glad I get to be here for it.
Oh, Chuck, you're totally right, because this is like peak Grindbin. This is to me on the level of Dangerous Men, Miami Connection, Mind Trap, Lady Terminator. This is a hell of a movie.
Yeah, this is an all-timer for sure. I was just telling Mike about that before we started recording. I couldn't but... Why is the phone ringing?
Oh my God! What? I thought we got rid of him.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
thought
on
we
your
dealt
end,
with
Bobby?
this.
You want to answer that for us?
Yeah, let me just... Hello?
Hello? What the fuck?
Mr. C.
That's quite a way to introduce yourself. Yeah.
What the fuck indeed, Mr.
Yeah,
C.
what the fuck? I'm just back from Hong Kong. Is that where the hell I was? Me and Deezen finally got bailed out. Can't believe what the hell went on there. Where were you guys? Where the hell happened?
It's a funny story. Sorry, Chuck. I didn't mean for this to derail what we were talking about.
Go right ahead. Hey, Dad, I'm glad you got out of there all right. You guys okay?
Son?
Dad? Did you just... Wait, Dad?
Yeah.
Chuck, what are you doing here?
Well, I
You
just
two know
thought-
each other.
Well, yes, he's my dad. Duh. Of course I know
Wait a
him.
second. Hold on.
Wait,
Wait.
what-
Whoa. Slow down.
Duh, my eye. What do you mean, duh?
Wait a second. Chuck, Mr. Crowd's your dad?
Yeah, I thought it was common knowledge, right?
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Not exactly. Oh, how...
Yeah, Chuck's my son. He's been my son my whole life. Well, his whole life. But Chuck, thank you, Chuck. I did get out of jail. It's fine. Papa says hi.
Hey, how's Uncle Eddie?
Yeah,
Uncle
we don't
Eddie.
have to talk about that right now, okay? He's got problems, and you know
Yeah,
that.
I get it.
I hope the wife and kids are doing fine.
Oh, okay, hold on a second. No,
Mike, I'm
no.
shook.
So you're telling me one of the Grindbin 4 is actually... Chuck, how long... Why did you never tell us this? You've been a fan of the show for so long.
Well, to be honest, guys, I don't really listen to the show.
What?
What the
I'm-
fuck?
No, I just told him to keep an eye on you.
Pretty much, yeah. I just kind of keep it, keep an ear on you, really.
Chuck's a double agent for the show?
But all those comments, Chuck, over the years, and...
All those pics?
All right, you know what? I'm bored.
Is
Goodbye.
this-
Son, I'll see you at Father's Day. Thank you. Love you.
Love you too, Dad. Take care.
What the fuck?
This is upsetting. I don't know what to even do about this.
I'm demoralized. Like, I thought Chuck was one of our loyal listeners, and it's happened all along that you're just a plant?
What a heel.
Well, how do you think I've been here since the beginning? I mean, it's just... I thought it was common knowledge. I mean,
Now that I think about it, because I wasn't here during that time too, it does make sense that's how he got through those early days.
I
know
mean,
what?
think about it. How else are you going to watch stuff like Jekyll and Hyde together again?
God damn it, that's why you did it!
trolled us.
Or Night Patrol?
Oh my God.
My God.
You were trolling us the whole time.
It was there the whole time, Mike.
It was me, Mike. It was me the whole time.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh.
Chuck was the higher power?
Well, Chuck, do you want to just play along and we'll get through this episode like a normal one?
Yeah.
So, Bobby, you got the background for this because I got lots of issues going on in my life, so you're the one who had to do it for me this
Yeah,
week.
you're dealing with a lot of shit here. So, I'll take it. We'll start with, let's get into our crew then for this film. Our director is a man named Ivan Hall. He's got 19 credits. I wrote a few of those down. One of them is 1971's Vengeance Cops, 1974's Funeral for an Assassin, and then this is the significant one, is 1976, he made a film called Kill or Be Killed.
Uh-oh.
Get this, in which actor James Ryan plays a martial artist named Steve.
Sounds familiar.
It does a little bit. So I wrote down what this movie's about, and it's a famous martial artist, Steve Chase, travels to the desert for what he thinks is an Olympic-style competition. The competition turns out to be a trap set by Baron von Rudloff, an ex-Nazi general who's still bitter over his humiliating defeat of his martial arts team at the 1936 Summer Olympics by the Japanese.
What a plot.
Yeah.
Steve wants to escape when his girlfriend, Olga, is deemed unsuitable to continue as part of von Rudloff's team. And when Steve and Olga make their escape, von Rudloff sends his sympathetic dwarf henchman Chico to travel around the world to recruit the best fighters for his team.
Well, this sounds amazing.
You were going to say, Chuck?
I want to point out that it's actually, his name is Steve Hunt in this movie.
Oh, pardon me,
Not
I wrote it
Steve
down
Chase,
wrong.
yeah.
Steve Chase is this movie.
Yeah.
See, and that was the interesting thing when this was suggested by Chuck. I thought, we're doing a part 2 without ever covering part 1, and it's not summer sequel month. What is that? And then I realized he's got a different last name. He's not playing the same character.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same
He
actor.
is, but he's not. It's weird.
Yes, it is the same actor and the same director working together and doing a very similar plot line. It's the same actor, the same director, doing like a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Enter the Dragon situation where they go to this compound and have to fight in a martial arts tournament.
Yeah. It's very Bloodsport, but were these made before Bloodsport?
Well
yeah.
before. These were
Yeah.
made in the 70s and not released until a handful of years later here in the States. These are South African movies, I should mention. A lot of this
Interesting.
cast and crew are South African. And so that leads to our writer, John Crowther, who's got 9 credits, including the movie we're doing tonight, followed by 1984 Missing in Action.
Oh,
The,
is that the Norris one?
The Chuck
Yes.
Norris one, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Get this, Mike, same year,
Oh, no.
John Crowther's a Grindbin all-star, my friends,
Holy shit.
because he wrote a little movie called The Evil That Men Do.
What?
Absolutely.
I
Oh,
saw
man.
that and I was like, wow, okay. That blew my
We are
mind.
in good hands, guys.
He followed that up with 1986's Hands of Steel. Now, funny story about the writing of this movie is that, according to Crowther, in an interview on the Blu-ray for this film, the director sat a bunch of writers down in a room. He showed them all Kill or Be Killed, and then he asked them to pitch him an idea for the sequel.
But we're not going to make a sequel.
And so Crowther
It's-
was like, I guess it's basically the same movie, but with some of the names changed. And they were like, I love it.
Yeah, I think in there he said he came up with the idea Magnificent Seven, and as I pitched it, think Magnificent Seven, and they were like, yes, let's do it. Okay.
Magnificent Seven, but there's only 4 of them.
Yeah.
The Magnificent Seven, of which there are 4.
Yeah.
As suggested by the member of the Grindbin 4, of which there are 3. Oh, Christ. So, let's talk about the other recurring guy, our lead actor, James Ryan, who plays Steve in
Oh,
both
man.
movies.
What screen presence, right?
Right? Oh, man. Now, he, trained martial artist, has 39 credits, most of which, at least 25 of them, are just movies in South Africa. But I wrote down a couple of them. In 1977, he did a film called Mr. Deathman, which is a
man.
great title. Here's what this one is apparently about. Jeffrey Graves is a suave secret agent who's called out of retirement and sent to South Africa to recover a kidnapped aerospace engineer before he can reveal the secrets of the government's experimental solar shuttle. He faces a lesbian enemy, an agent named Liz, and there's a rotary phone and a Lamborghini.
You know, I have to say, though, he only has 39 credits, and you're saying mostly South Africa.
Yeah.
Now, I might get in trouble with this for the Grindbin audience, but he's better than Chuck Norris.
He does have more presence, I guess you'd say. He's got game. He's smooth.
He delivers the one-liners much better than Norris does.
And how about that chest?
Oh, man, right?
And that is absolutely true. He's like white Liu Kang, but white Riccio running around in his black pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, the problem is Chuck Norris delivers his quips like he doesn't know why he's talking right now.
Exactly.
Like he can't control his mouth.
Dude, Steve, just everything about him, perfect.
Oh, I love him. Whether he's Steve Hunt or Steve Chase, it doesn't matter. He's
I
our
just
Steve.
love that the hero's name in both these movies is Steve.
Steve.
It's a great action hero name. It works for Captain America. It works for Captain South Africa. But two other movies of note that James Ryan did that made it here in the States. He starred in 1988's Space Mutiny, which if you're an
Yes.
MST3K fan, you are definitely aware of.
Oh, wow.
And then he also played the Mexican chief of police in From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money in 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, a South African martial artist played the Mexican chief of police in a straight-to-video sequel to a Robert Rodriguez movie.
None of this is surprising.
Really, anything goes. So moving on, we have our female lead, Annalene Creel, who only has 10 acting credits because she's more known for being Miss World 1974.
Oh.
But a couple credits I'll give her, though. The Tangent
And
Affair in
she-
1989.
She plays the character of Candy Kane in this movie?
She does. She plays Candy Kane. That's Candy with a K, Kane with a K. That's gotta be Kane. And another noteworthy role that she had was she was the female lead in 1990's Reason to Die, which is a Wings Hauser movie.
Oh, we love Wings on the show.
Of course we do. Of course we do. And she is there. I'll give her that for her performance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Candy
What do you guys
Kane,
think?
Yeah, she's there.
She had lines.
I feel bad because there is a part where it establishes that she can kick ass, and then Steve's just like, yeah, but you stay in the car, cook dinner.
Yeah.
It's like, Steve, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he keeps playfully being misogynistic, and I guess he gets his comeuppance from her. She kind of meets his match, but it doesn't really ring because he just laid it on so thick.
Yeah.
But,
She's better than Hot Dog.
yeah. Hot Dog, I don't have him written down. I did see, though, that he's a pretty prolific South African comedic actor. He's got, like, 35 credits. None of them are movies that I'd heard of or had really plot synopsises. So he's around. He's a character actor in South Africa.
Shocking to me that he's...
You expected like one movie, and it was this one.
Yeah, I thought he was like the director's son or something.
He wandered onto set.
What the fuck is this guy doing in the movie? I
Hey,
can't wait.
what's wrong with nepotism? It's okay.
Oh yeah,
pro
I should watch
nepotism
my tongue.
this episode. We almost got away from it. Wasn't for that meddling Chuck. Damn it, we were almost out. So, speaking of the crew, the supporting members of this, Stan Schmidt and Norman Robinson, who play The Fly and Gypsy Billy, respectively,
Oh yeah.
are not professional actors, and I know that's a hard pill to swallow, guys.
What? The Fly?
Hard to believe. The Fly and Gypsy Billy, not actors, but rather, they're the two most famous South African Shotokan karate men.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the Fly was Chris Angel's dad or something.
No, actually, he's a big deal in the world of karate. He's one of the highest revered, highest ranked Westerners to practice Shotokan karate, and is in like the South African Karate Hall of Fame.
Shit.
So they are here to lend legitimacy to the martial arts. The two of them together also choreographed all of the fight scenes.
Well, neither of those
of which
guys...
Annalene Creel had no stunt double. She's the only one listed as having done all of her own stunts.
You know, neither of those guys can hold a candle to Steve, though.
Well, right. I mean, who could?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd only hold a candle to Steve to get a better look at those abs.
Yes, definitely. And I believe the guy who played Gypsy Billy, he's in Kill or Be Killed also.
He is, again, playing another character.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think they were just sort of the go-to guys. If we're doing a South African karate movie, we're going to get these guys here.
You know what's funny to me is, like, halfway through the movie, I forgot that there was a character of Gypsy and a character of The Fly, and I started to think that they were the same guy.
Well, I mean, you look. A lot of these dudes do just look like the same, and then toward the end when they're fighting, like it's almost like watching Us. It looked like, especially when Gypsy Billy's in there, it looks like he's fighting himself.
I mean, two guys with like balding, like receding hairlines, and you're like, I don't know who's who. Everybody's in a gi, so I can't really tell anymore.
Like every single man in this movie is just your dad practicing karate in the basement.
I'm gonna tell you, at the end of the movie, I thought The Fly had 2 fights.
Like he was so good.
I kept writing in my notes, like, why is The Fly fighting again?
Where's my release? When does it end? So I've got one more person in this cast who stood out very much. No, not the main villain, but rather the main villain's girlfriend, ? Sister, ? I'm not sure. But rather Minerva, the Pink Lady.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Played by Marlo Scott Wilson, who only has 8 credits, also didn't really pursue much acting outside of this, but rather, a few years later, she released a Christian pop album in 1985 called The Pink Lady, under her real name. Wow. And so, a little treat for you Grindbin listeners, from 1985, here's Marlo Scott Wilson with Love Explosion.
What we need is a love explosion, bursting inside of every heart. Yes, indeed, a love explosion to stop this world from tearing apart. Oh, there's only one answer, can't you see? Only one way to set us free. It's a love attack to get us back together. A love explosion.
What a song, am I right, guys?
Man, I'm glad we played the entire song.
Yeah, wow.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great as far as as far as Christian pop goes. It's pretty all right. Now I actually, guys, I'll bring this up. I reached out to her. I found her on social media. It's 38 years later, and she doesn't have hot pink hair anymore, but she's very nice. And she said that I asked her if she had any anecdotes from the filming of this, and she said, well, I want a little time to compile my thoughts, because it's been, 3.5 decades, almost 4, since she's even thought about this movie. But, and she said she'd get back to me, so here's what she had to say. And unfortunately, she didn't get back to me. But that's okay. That's totally understandable. I still appreciated that she took the time to respond, and she seems very nice.
Did she call you like a pet name before she signed off?
That would have been awesome.
Oh yeah, different ones after every sentence.
Great.
Yeah.
But
Okay, is that all the cast you had? Because I have one more person I want to mention.
that is all the cast. I have one more thing about the background, but tell me.
I cannot get out of the cast without mentioning a man, Ken Gampu, who plays Gorilla in this movie. Now, have you seen The Gods Must Be Crazy?
Yes.
I have, yes.
Okay, he's the president in that movie, and he's also in both of the King Solomon's movies from canon.
Yes, he is. I should have written that down. I made a mistake there.
I was going to say I recognized him immediately when I started the movie.
I thought he looked familiar, but I wasn't sure what I knew him from, but you're absolutely right. I did read one little extra thing about him, too. He was the first black man to play Lenny in Of Mice and Men in South Africa. And because of how long ago it was, I believe it was in the 60s that he did this, he had to get permission from the authorities to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was definitely blazing a trail. He was breaking down some barriers during a time when it was not socially acceptable. So Gorilla's kind of a badass.
Oh yeah, dude. This guy is. I love his character in this movie, and I can't wait to get into it. Especially one of the lines he says early on about his background. I know you
Yes.
guys will enjoy that.
And funny enough, and we'll get into that then. The writer addressed that little tidbit in the interview that I watched. But the last bit I have is that there was a third movie in this series that was planned called The Most Dangerous Man, which I'm sure would have starred Steve Jones.
I was gonna say, what's his name, Steve?
Which I'm sure would have been a third Steve and a completely different story that's also the same story. But it never happened because the studio, Film Ventures International, went out of business.
Oh, because Bobby, I have a proposal for the fourth movie in the quadrilogy that it would become.
Oh, tell me.
Is that I'm sorry, the actor's name is what? James Ryan? You said
James Ryan.
James Ryan. It sounds like a secret agent name. James Ryan is not playing another Steve in the fourth movie, but he plays triplets. And we learned that all the Steves are actually identical twins.
So he plays Steve Hunt, Steve Chase, and Steve
Steve
Charles,
Jones.
all three?
Yep.
Steve Jones?
All three.
And Steve Urkel?
Yeah, all three in the same movie.
Oh, just imagine the roundhouse kick followed by, did I do that?
I feel like the movie would just start, the screen would explode, and that's it. Like, it could never be screened. It's so goddamn buff.
I gotta say, I am a little upset that the third one was scheduled to be called The Most Dangerous Man, because, like, you have, kill or be killed, kill and kill again, and then a title that doesn't have kill twice in the title?
Yeah.
I was thinking they should go the machete route. It's called Kill and Kill Again in Space.
Or, like, was it Only Killers Kill?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I feel like they tried to roll on the third movie, and then they got on set. They're like, the camera broke. He's just too buff.
He kept fogging up the lens.
But there's no fog. Like, we don't understand what's happening. It must just be Steve.
He's like, that happens everywhere I go.
I also want to point out that I was watching your movie again for this, and I realized James Ryan had a just the most amazing hair. I love that hair. I'm looking at my hair used to look like that back in 1987 when
You
I
looked
had
like
hair.
Steve Perry from Journey?
Yes,
That's the third Steve.
there it
The
is.
third Steve was Steve Perry from Journey.
Holy shit.
Only like they're doing a tour of South Africa, and then like some ex-Nazis try to disrupt the Journey show, and there's some loving, some touching, some squeezing, and some kicking.
And his two brothers, Steve, come to the rescue. It all makes
Because
sense.
they had the free tickets to see their brother Steve.
Yeah.
It's not so often that the band comes around.
Guys, there's this whole mix-up, and at one point, Steve Chase has to fill in for his brother on stage, It's
Oh, man.
It's perfect.
This is gold, boys.
Because the good Steve is out there making the lights go out in the city.
Yeah, Chuck, can you get your dad
I'm gonna get Dad on the phone. I'm gonna pitch this to him. It's gonna be great.
Perfect.
Oh man, we're gonna get Ryan on the phone. It's gonna be great. Grindbin Pictures presents.
If I could, I would fucking produce that third script. Sight unseen, I would produce the script. Like, I know
yes.
it would be fucking gold, man.
And you've only seen one of these
Oh
movies.
yeah, no, I know it would be gold. Like, there's no
Based
question.
on that alone.
Yeah.
Man. And so, we're through all the background. It's time to get into the movie. But first, let's take a listen to the trailer.
James Ryan, 4 times world martial arts champion, a living weapon of destruction. In 1980, he accepted the challenge to take on a battalion of karate commandos and kill or be killed. Now, James Ryan is back as Steve Chase in the most explosive action-adventure of our time. This time, his assault squad of 5 international superstars must face an enemy that could devastate any army on Earth. The karate clones of the Mad Marduk. And his evil champion of champions, the Optimus. Steve Chase.
Must have been domestic.
The Flash. Gypsy Billy. Gorilla. Hot Dog. And the magnificent Candy Cane.
I had to see for myself how good you really were.
Together, they must battle for a prize more valuable than any trophy. The freedom of the entire world.
It'll be expensive.
Shall we say 2 million?
5 million.
In the air. On the ground. And in the arena of death.
Let the fun begin.
When black belts clash, steel fists collide. In a martial arts free-for-all of global proportions. This is the all-new Kill and Kill Again. The one motion picture that will annihilate every concept you've ever had about the limits of human strength, conditioning, and endurance. Kill and Kill Again. The challenge continues.
So, guys, we start wobbly credits, which is very weird, right? The credits are like, I'm trying to read them like, okay, fine. Maybe you don't want me to read them.
It's like a James Bond style thing. We're getting credits over the silhouettes.
That was my first thought. They really want him to come out like a James Bond type character with these kind of credits. Even mentioning Candy Cane. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this is very inspired by the James Bond movies, for sure. This is James Bond, Karate Man.
Oh, Steve could take James Bond, no problem.
Oh, you kidding me? You've seen Connery with his shirt off? It ain't shit.
I feel like he'd just walk out of the room. He'd be like, I've seen enough.
That's too much chest for me, boy. I'm out of here. Yeah.
But after the credits of the silhouette of Steve doing all sorts of martial arts moves, we go to, this is
the
amazing.
Sun City International Martial Arts Confederation.
Which, okay, we are in some building in South Africa or something like that.
It's a casino, isn't it? Like a casino hotel that we're standing at the pool outside?
We learned that it's a casino, but there's just like these old guys, and they're giving out an award, okay? And this, I love this. The guy who's like the MC of this thing is like, we're giving out...
Burt Bacharach?
Yeah.
Not James Coburn? Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You know what, Chuck? I thought it was him at first. I'm like, what the fuck is he
really
doing
thought
in
it
this
was?
movie?
No, this was Steve Coburn.
Yeah. No. It's clearly like his stunt double, right? Or like his stand-in?
Definitely. And what's great is as he's explaining the award they're trying to give, I don't think he's sure what it is.
Well, because he goes...
He's just kind of stammering about, says, for outstanding merit or achievement.
Yeah, he
presented
says,
to the person who...
The quote he says is, the greatest in the art. That's it. Like, the art of what?
That sounds like a made-up kindergarten award you hand out,
Yeah.
And it's weird that for what seems to just be like a Hall of Fame presentation or something of that effect, we have a panel of judges.
Oh, and this panel, like, could they get any guys that are older? Like,
There's
holy
like Wilford Brimley sitting there and the Monopoly guy.
Dude, the guy in the middle is so fucking out of shape. I don't think he can stand.
I think he does Aikido. Like Steven Seagal.
And then they mentioned these were like the top experts or something like that. They were presenting this award, and they referenced these 3 old guys. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, they just found 3 old guys and go, can you sit in these chairs for the day?
And so halfway through this induction speech, we just cut to a guy going, yeah! And it's Steve Perry from Journey. in a tux.
This is how you want to start your movie, by the way, is like, get that fucking award show out of here. Cut right to a fight
Mid-sentence,
scene.
we just go, never mind, fuck that. Here's a kick.
Yeah, I don't even need the setup, dude. I want to see Steve kicking ass in a casino right now.
And you get that because Steve is and since we don't have any context, he's just beating up a casino. He's just running through rooms and knocking people out.
Now,
man.
did you guys notice when he kicked the first guy, he kicked him into a group of people that were sitting enjoying their cocktails, almost like they're like, can you move that outside or something? Like, nobody's that panicked about the thing. They're like, ugh.
I did notice that. Everybody's very calm. It's like, shouldn't somebody call in the cops or something? But they're just taking it like it's part of the show.
It's the resident show.
A guy in a tuxedo doing martial arts.
Screaming, ay,
In case you're wondering just what kind of motherfucker Steve is, mid-fight, he suddenly pulls the lever on someone's slot machine, and you're damn right it hits 3 sevens.
Of course it fucking does, dude.
Of course it hits 3 sevens simultaneously, not one after the other like a real slot machine, but, you know.
He's just that good.
Yeah, the machine was intimidated, dude.
It's like, whatever you want, man. Here you go. Here's all the coins.
But I absolutely love it. It's like, I've never seen a fight scene in which the bystanders look more annoyed than panicked. They're just like, really?
Like every fucking day here.
It's almost like they expect they're going to have to pull out their wallets and give a tip or something at the end of it. They're like, no.
Like a sweating through his tux Steve is just like, I'll be happy to take a photo if anybody wants one. Now, I do accept tips.
Like one time I was in a New York City subway, and these guys started a barbershop quartet, and they sang like this whole song. And then one of the guys, takes off his hat and is walking around for tips. And the conductor of the train comes on and goes, "Don't give them money." And it was a very awkward situation.
I've heard this song 17 times. Yeah. They'll come back tomorrow if you give them money. And so from the casino stunt show, we do cut back to Steve Coburn. And he's still farting on about this guy. He goes, so we present the award to the 8-time world champion, Mr. Steve. Yeah! And Steve comes running out again.
God, dude, well, he's just bringing the show to the crowd, dude, because...
Oh, yeah.
Look, that award show...
But now it gets pretty crazy.
That award show needed some livening up, because, come on, dude. There's like...
Oh, it was a snooze.
Not James Coburn. They hired his stunt double to give the award. They hired the oldest men they could find in South Africa to say they're experts. There's women, there's other people in the crowd. Everybody's dressed up in their evening gowns, like, this is a big deal. And this award show is going to shit, man.
But he saves it, though, Steve does, because he flips over a guy and hits him with a trash can he was suddenly holding.
Yeah.
And as he's doing that, Steve Coburn goes, Mr. Steve Chase, and everybody applauds. And he responds to that applause by, yes, that's how you introduce this character. You're like, this fucking guy, hell yeah. And he responds to the applause by kicking one of these goons into a group of women that are by the pool, knocking all of them in.
Yeah, and everybody claps. Like, everybody at the event is like, yay, he did it.
Even, like, the women whose gowns are ruined are in the pool going, classic Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And he's got one of his first quips as he says, I really hate these affairs.
And then the woman who hands him the trophy has this, like, henny penny voice. What kind of affairs do you like?
And he says, the kind you're most aptly suited for?
Yeah.
Yeah, it means fucking.
Yeah, but like, what a weird way to say that.
He's gonna bone that hillbilly.
He's got his own style. It's all right.
He does. He's got his own game he's running. Don't worry about it. But yeah, one of the hotel casino guys comes running out. What's up, Mike?
I mean, did you guys at any point, like, I was like, oh, it's one of these. Like, I thought there was going to be multiple points where Steve is, we're going to get a sex scene. Mm-hmm. No, I was shocked because I was like, it's setting it up like he's a real ladies' man, this guy.
Oh, I had to double check the rating on this. I was like, PG? Really?
Wait, this movie's rated PG?
Yeah, think about it. There's no gore and no nudity.
What the? Nope. Holy
This is just an adventure movie. It's good, fun for the whole family. Show it to your kids. Yeah, we get a guy, the maitre d' of this South African hotel casino comes running out like, Mr. Steve, you've ruined this whole place, the usual thing. And he goes, you know what, pal, just bill my room. And then this beautiful blonde woman who was hanging out this whole time, who was kind of in the background while Steve was fighting the whole casino, running around behind him.
Yes, yeah,
goes,
you saw her at various points. Like, she would just jump into the scene and go, I'm here.
Just to make sure she got some camera time. And she goes, please, no, bill my room, because those men he was fighting all over the casino, they assaulted me.
Yeah, she says to Steve, she was like, you saved me from a, quote, most embarrassing scene. And I'm like, well, it was still pretty embarrassing. I mean, he was
But
kicking
then in
people
probably
all over
the,
this place.
Yeah, this kept it from being embarrassing. But he goes, "You set that up, Ms. Kane." And she goes, "How'd you know my name?" And he goes, "The hotel registry."
Okay, pause right now. What the fuck, dude? So he's just like, at one point, Steve was like, "That's a pretty lady," and then he goes into the hotel registry himself to find her name.
I wanted to see, like, during that, journey through the whole hotel, he, like, kicks a guy in the taint and then just sort of, like, stops for a second and flips a couple pages at the front desk.
I was like, okay, at that point, I'm like, I don't know how to take Steve at this point. Like, I'm enjoying his screen presence, but also he might be a creepo. I'm not so
He's
sure.
kind of weird at us, because we also find out at this moment that he doesn't even have a room here.
Oh, what a classic move, though. Because she's like,
classic Steve.
That's
man.
just Steve.
But this is my favorite part about this whole thing.
You just got Steved.
It's because my favorite part about this whole thing is that Candy Cane turns to him and she's like, "Oh my God, what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "Joke's on them. I don't even have a suite." And I'm like, "Well, joke's on you, lady, because now you're getting the bill."
Yep. She got Steved.
They both got Steve, dude. Double Steved right there.
Oh God.
Holy shit.
Well, that's there are multiple Steves. Well, that's part of the different last names. It is the same character. He just keeps writing different names all over the place because he keeps fucking everybody out of his room.
It's kind of like Bill Bixby in The Incredible Hulk. Every episode was just changing his name from David something with a B. Yeah.
Exactly. So he's always Steve something.
Yeah.
Steve Banner.
So he's about to leave, but Bobby, they're calling for him to give a speech. Go ahead, Bobby. In your best impression, give Steve's big speech. Ready?
Thank you very much.
Yep, that's it.
And he just does a one fist pump with the trophy. Why do you win a trophy for, like, outstanding achievement? It wasn't a tournament.
My notes are going wild at this point. I'm like, who are these people? What is this award? What is happening?
I thought you just meant with applause. I thought you meant like your notes were just "fuck yeah" over and over again.
I'm like, are we gonna get any context to this? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Fuck it. The context is Steve.
That's true. Well, now, and by the way, Steve's worked his Steve magic because he's in Candy's suite at this point.
Oh, yeah, we cut immediately to him back at the room, and she's pouring 2 glasses of champagne.
We should say the way we find out that Steve doesn't have a suite is because Candy is so enamored with him that she says, "You want to go back to your suite?" And that's when he says, "I don't have one. Let's go to yours."
Guess we better, I don't have a house. I guess I better live with you.
Are you kidding me? She'd fucking order a bed that day, dude. You see this guy?
That magnificent chest, yes.
God.
So I love this, though, is immediately when they get into Candy's suite, Steve is fucking combing the place for bugs.
Oh, it's great. It's so great. He initially, refuses the champagne.
Oh, yeah. No. He's not falling for that.
Steve doesn't drink, pal.
Absolutely not.
And, but yeah, while she's trying to talk to him and, set the mood, he's just running 2 fingers along every surface in this place.
Yeah, and she's just
and,
like...
I'm not one to kink shame. Whatever it takes to get...
Whatever
it takes to put water on the water slide, it's...
Because she's confused as all hell. She's like, okay, I guess this is kind of his fetish or something. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but...
But the conversation while he's fingering the entire room is...
And he is, yeah.
He is. That room is ready.
Yeah.
Like, he's putting it everywhere, dude. He's going in flower pots. He's going in cushions.
Like this dude is going to need a whole tub of Perel when he is done with this room. But she starts, explaining a situation about her father. Because he recognized her last name, and he goes, "Are you related to the Nobel Prize-winning chemist Horatio Kane?" And she goes, "Yes, in fact." He's like, "The one that's been missing for 2 weeks?" She goes, "He was actually kidnapped."
Like, Steve knows the plot of the movie before any of us do. Right?
Well,
he's
read
the
the
smartest
script.
guy in the room, yes.
At all times.
Yes.
And if there is no room, he's the smartest guy outside.
Like, we've dealt with movies where you have, like, unstoppable heroes, but never to Steve's level. Like, absolutely
so absurd.
Not even close to Steve's level.
And so it's at this point that we discover what the fuck he's doing with his fingers, because he gets over the Sonic the Hedgehog has run on every surface but the piano.
Okay, I have a big problem with this. You get a fucking hotel room with a piano in it? That is a horrible idea, dude.
Like, does that cost more or less? I'm not sure.
It should just not be in anybody's hotel room. The amount of noise that's gonna, like, imagine every room having a goddamn piano in it.
Oh God. That's awful.
Especially in a casino, man, where drinking's encouraged.
Well, you got to drown out the sound of the casino floor somehow.
Every fucking dumbass is going to come back to his room and try to play Rocket Man or Tiny Dancer on the thing.
Like, it's bad enough that every room is going to smell like cigarettes and failure. But now, everyone's fucking Archie Bunker sitting at the piano, drowning their sorrows. Yeah. So yeah, he runs the across the keys until one is silent.
Uh-oh.
One key doesn't work. We got a dud key. We got 87 keys here, fellas. But and he taps it a couple times and then pulls off the key itself to reveal a listening device.
Holy shit, Steve was right. He didn't finger that room for nothing.
No. And he goes, someone else must be interested. Let's give him something to listen to. And so he goes, he puts it back over by the piano, and then just starts pounding his fist on the keys.
Yeah, and you cut to the guy with the headphones on going, ah!
Ah! He should have just scanned.
Oh, God.
If this was a rated R movie, his head would have just painted that little room he was in.
Okay, but this is when it gets into maybe the best Grindbin plot of all time.
Oh, God. So, yeah, he takes the listening device now that he's done that. He walks over as she's about to take a sip of her fancy imported champagne. We made a point to make sure that, that we knew this was the good stuff, man. This was the spendy stuff. And he respects that by dropping the listening device in her drink before she could take a sip.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we start getting into that plot.
Oh, okay. So let's just say that Candy Cane breaks it down.
Chuck, do you want to lay this out?
Yeah.
Well, so the basic plot, if I can remember how it went, was that her father was working with potatoes, and discovered there's a fuel source, but the side effect of that was they had a mind control drug he could create from it, and that's why he was kidnapped.
That's the wonder of the potato, fellas.
So this has to be like during the pitch when he says, yeah, the guy goes, yeah, same movie, different characters, and they're like, we love it. What's the plot? And he's like, potatoes. They can turn into gas. They can also be used for mind control. Love it.
Get the check.
And so yeah, he's like, you mean your father got abducted over a potato?
Okay.
And and Mike's got a headache already.
The plot of this movie is that a girl's father was kidnapped because he found out how to turn potatoes into gasoline, which she says is enough to drive every car to the moon.
We'll never need gasoline again.
Yeah, okay.
What car is driving to the moon?
Yeah, exactly. But
Steve's car.
But then she goes, oh, also, he did something, like he found out, like, he accidentally stumbled upon a mind-controlled drug. It's no big deal, but, you know.
Like the liquid runoff from this potato experiment, he realized that if you drink that shit, you become a mind control zombie?
But she's playing it off like, no, he was kidnapped because of the gas part. The mind control thing, that I don't really think that has anything to do with it.
And all I could think at this point, though, was this scientist got kidnapped for his formula. Well, this looks like a job for Turkish Superman.
Yeah, or Dan Haggerty.
But neither of them were available, so we got Steve.
Now, you guys are in agreement with me, right? That chair in Mind Trap is controlled by potatoes, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There is a sack of Yukon Golds under that chair.
Yeah, what type of potato? Yeah, is it russet, Yukon Gold, the red? Like, what are we talking?
And can you use French fries?
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going into the Ralphs after we record.
Can we get some nice, like, crisp-cut mind control?
Yeah, no. I'm going into the Ralphs, right? I live a block from a Ralph's. I'm walking in there after we record it. I'm going to go, which one of these is best for mind control?
Oh, God. I just picture a completely mad Mike just in the middle of the produce section holding up a potato going, this is how they do it! And they're gonna do it to you too!
Look, trust me, that's not the weirdest thing I've done at that Ralph's. They know me, alright?
I know, I've been to that Ralph's with you.
They all wave hi when I walk in.
I've watched your wife slowly shake her head.
I live in a big town, but they still know me. They still know me by name, man.
So this big reveal is interrupted by room service.
Oh, yeah, but, Bobby, she already ordered it, though.
Yeah, she's like, he's bringing her a bottle of champagne. She's like, but I already ordered champagne. And the maitre d', the room service guy, the waiter goes, well, this one's on the house, ma'am. And Steve's like, whoa. And he runs in and he grabs it out of the ice bucket and chucks it out the window. And then what happens, guys?
It fucking explodes.
It explodes.
It goes off like a hand grenade.
You also get maybe my favorite callback, is he goes, must have been domestic.
Yeah. Oh, nailed it. Got him.
Shit.
Yeah, Sean Connery just got knocked flat.
Take that, South African champagne industry.
Your Scottish dick in the dirt, Sean. You're no Steve Connery, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, good point though, Mike. Like the champagne makers in South Africa are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're watching the movie like, come on, man.
Like, we went through all the trouble of taking over this part of this country, and then, all right.
Okay, but...
Continent, excuse me. You know, the country of Africa. Jesus Christ. That's why I talk about movies.
I was just so confused with this next part because he gets in a fight with the room service guy, and he's, like, kicking his ass. But then they go outside, and there's all these old dudes, and they're like, wait, hold on, Steve.
Well, I think the room service guy hid in the closet.
Okay, because he takes him outside the room, and then these guys stop him like, hey, Steve, we're here to help.
But before they even get a chance to, he puts like a forearm against two guys at once against their throats, puts a foot against another guy, and the fourth guy just sort of stands there because we're out of limbs. He's just like, I guess I'm being held against the wall too.
But then these guys are outside like, no, we're the good guys. I'm like, what the like, hold on, was the room service guy with them, or what the hell was this?
And Steve asks that, and we never get an answer. He's like, is this one of yours or one of theirs? And then we just ignore that, and the room service guy leaves.
Yeah, can you imagine they just gave him that bomb outside? They're like, we just want to test him, make sure if it's the real Steve Chase.
So you know what I think, guys? No, I don't think it was tested at all. I think this guy had nothing to do with that plot. I think this guy is mad about all the imported champagne coming through this place.
Okay.
He got sent by the South African Big Champagne.
Champagne.
To try to do it, try and put an end to all this import bullshit.
So these guys, these old men are like, okay, Steve, no, we're here to help. We know Candy Cane.
So it's 4 old men and Grindbin All-Star Mr. Boom.
Yes. And they're like, we'd like to hire you to save Candy's father and save the world from free potato gas and mind control. And we're offering you $2 million plus expenses.
Yeah, because my father's being held in a village in the mountains, and the entire town at the bottom of the mountain is under the potato mind control.
Yeah, and have you heard of Scientology?
Right, basically. That's exactly what's going on. And he goes, tell you what, guys, make it $5 million, and I'll handle my own expenses.
Because Steve's a smart businessman, and he knows that when he pays his taxes, he's going to file his own expenses on his expense report. Because if he takes those expenses, then he's received a gift. And Steve...
Hey, South African IRS, you just got Steve.
And Steve knows damn well he ain't reporting no gifts, buddy.
He should have turned to Candy Cane and went, that's the thing, I don't pay taxes. That's why my last name keeps changing.
You got a briefcase full of cash, right? Like, yeah, that's the whole thing is he keeps changing his last name. But he keeps the same first name, because people need to know. Steve.
Like, this is like a doc, this is Steve who? Who are you? I'm Steve. And so he also needs a little help. He needs 4 good men he can rely on, he says to the 4 men in the hall.
Yeah.
And
not you old fuckers.
He's like, not you old fucks. I mean, I took 3 down myself, and I don't know what happened to the 4th guy. He just started peeing himself. And so he needs to compile his crew, and one more condition. The girl stays here. That's right. Me and my boys are going on vacation, and no chicks.
It's a whole sausage fest on that airplane, man.
That's all Steve wants.
So then we cut to, I love this, is like from that, they agree to the terms, and then we cut to just a bunch of kids doing karate in a field.
Oh, Mike. Incorrect, sir. Incorrect. These are not children.
No. It pans by, and some of those are kids, man.
But most of them are like 45-year-old dads.
We have you have different age groups, like 100 people from 10-year-olds to 40-year-olds doing karate in a field.
And like all of the kids doing the karate are being yelled at about the thermostat.
Okay, but how much were you guys wishing? I was like, holy shit, I hope Steve's gang of 4 is like kids. I hope they're like the 3 ninjas or something.
Oh man, he just leads a small army of child warriors to their doom.
He recruits the 3 ninjas, dude. That's the 3rd movie, is Steve and the 3 ninjas.
Oh man, Rocky, Colt, Tum Tum, and Steve.
Steve Jr.
So yeah, he walks through white guy karate school, and he says, I'm looking for the fly.
Yeah, he says this to the tallest guy there. It's just like some random dude.
And that's who's obviously in charge, right? When you walk into a place, it's whoever's tallest.
And he walks up and goes, I'm here to see the fly. And he's like, okay, well, you better talk to the guy in charge, man. You better go talk to Tanaka. This shit goes to the top, man.
Right. I'm just the tall guy. I'm not in charge. This is a karate school. You want to talk to the Japanese guy.
So go on top of the fucking random roof in another scene where other guys are doing karate.
Doing karate on a balcony, which is really, I thought was really strange. That's what kind of karate school is that? You're on a balcony of a tall building.
I mean, it works for the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, so he goes up to this, like, the top of this balcony, right? A rooftop balcony where Sensei Tanaka is teaching these other guys karate, and Steve just kind of walks up and he's like, I'm here to see the fly.
And Tanaka doesn't want to look him in the eyes about this. He's like, oh, some fucking guy asking for the fly.
Yeah, and he just kind of, like, motions to this door, right? And then this is amazing as Steve walks towards the door, and, guys, it opens itself.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, whoa, hold up.
Before Steve can even knock, the door just creaks open like a haunted house.
He knows it's Steve.
Yeah, exactly. Every door is an automatic door when you're Steve.
Is this next scene maybe the greatest introduction to a new character in Grindbin history?
Oh, my God. So, yeah, he walks through this magic door and into, like, an unfurnished studio apartment.
Yeah. It's very dark. There's no lights.
Yeah, at all. It's completely dark, and there's another door inside leading to, I guess, the master bedroom, the loft, and that door opens and closes itself as well.
And there's a table with candles and some matches on it.
Like incense, like really long, and there's clearly the silhouette of someone sitting in the windowsill. This is like when we first meet Edward Scissorhands. And he's in the attic, like, don't go, I'm not finished.
Tim Burton, you hack.
That's what I'm trying to say. Damn right, Chuck. Thank you. And then from the windowsill, why, we light a candle with our feet.
This is...
And Tarantino finished. Have you guys seen this movie Kill and Kill Again? I mean, my favorite scene, it happens in this little room on top of a building. And there's a guy called The Fly, see?
I was actually, Bobby, genuinely shocked that Quentin Tarantino has never included, like, a The Fly type character in any of his movies.
You know, I haven't, the new one's not out yet. But only it's gonna be Uma Thurman. Yeah, when we get Kill Bill and Kill Bill Again. It's called Kill Bill and Bill Again. She'll be doing everything with her feet, including the director.
Oh, and you know what? You don't have David Carradine anymore. Get Steve on the phone.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man. Oh, I think we need a Steve Assance.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's time. Like, where's Rodriguez on that shit?
So this scene, though, when this pair of feet grabs this match, strikes it against the table, and lights the candle, all with feet...
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, it's so confounded at this point. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
And while you're asking yourself this, the guy who just did that stands up really straight and then, like, Tom and Jerry glides across the floor. Like, you could hear the end keys of a piano going while he goes across.
Chris Angel, you hack. Like,
it's true. You got nothing on this guy.
He floats out like a fucking mind freak, dude. And then he said, okay, I don't know if you have the dialogue written down, but what they say to each other is the most cryptic bullshit.
Yeah, he says something like, your outer eye sees clearly, and they each kind of half-assedly throw like a punch. And he's like, but your inner eye. And, the backs of their hands touch, and they kind of gaze lovingly into each other's eyes. There's a through line in this movie that every member of his crew that he picks up, there's a tension here, like these two have definitely fucked.
They're all his ex-boyfriends, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed. Yeah. The condition was he needed to gather up all of his exes. This is like Scott Pilgrim. This is Steve Pilgrim.
I was getting that sense. I'm like, he's fucked all these guys. Like, definitely.
Oh, well, look at him.
No wonder they didn't want the girl coming with them, man.
That's why definitely no chicks, man, because it's going to be awkward. These guys don't know I'm into chicks now. And I don't have to explain it.
They all kind of act like Steve recruits them for his mission. They do kind of act like he's an ex. They're like, oh, Steve, I can't go. Man, it's hard to quit you, buddy.
And every character at some point is like, whoa, why is there a girl here? Yeah. I thought we were going on a guy's trip, know what I mean? I told my wife I was going fishing.
Broke back, kill again.
Broke again. I wish I knew how to quit, Steve.
That's how they kept this movie PG, was they kept the woman in it. Otherwise, this was going to be a much different movie, dude.
And so, if it's not cryptic enough, so we graze the backs of our hands, and he goes, but this time, Fly, the game is serious. And Fly goes, oh, I know. It's a game between tigers and dragons, in which both sides bleed profusely.
Okay, stop it. Like, Jesus.
It's okay. He does stop it because at that point he cheeses it.
Yeah.
He just takes off
And this
running.
is when I thought he has the wrong nickname. He shouldn't be called the Fly. He's clearly the Spider.
Yeah.
Because he runs away from Steve. Steve follows him out. Steve, by the way, no door is going to stop him. Fuck door handles, am I right? Just fucking kicks right through that thing.
Well, right, because the door closes itself.
It wasn't locked. He just immediately kicks it. He doesn't even try the handle.
He's angry that his ex ran out on him again.
Yeah, and when he sees him, he ran out. The Fly is climbing down a building like 60s Spider-Man.
Like a spider.
Yeah, he's going down it. And then he runs across the street in traffic, and Steve just has this smile like, I'll get you.
I gotta say though, him running across the busy traffic was like the least mystical martial artist that he's been in this movie. It's literally just a barefoot man, like a homeless man, just sort of running between cars.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because it's like, why don't you use your goddamn levitation powers there, bud?
Yeah, I get why he does all the levitating and gliding, because he runs like a dope.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's dodging cabs and shit, man. He's like putting the hand out and everything.
Oh, can you imagine if the Fly just got like Joe Black? Just boom, boom. Like, oh, well, I need 3 men. I think the Fly got swatted.
So then we go to a construction site where this is. So I've never been on a construction site, but I'm assuming this is just standard. Yeah, right. This is standard practice. Is that
Clearly,
yeah. The boys got to blow off some steam on break time.
And one giant dude named Gorilla is going to have a tug of war with like 10 of the other guys.
The entire other crew. See, the thing is, the construction sites, for anyone who doesn't know, are the only place that still hangs on to elementary school rules. You get lunch and then recess.
Oh, perfect. You know, I'm in the wrong field. Okay.
Until the whistle blows. You are. You got in the wrong business. This podcasting thing is just not. And so, yeah, we got the big mud puddle in the center, and the boys are trying their best, but Gorilla's just besting all of them.
Yeah, he's pulling them in one by one, which is funny, because usually tug of war happens, the whole side falls down, but no, he's just pulling one guy at a time into the puddle.
Oh, he's pulling it slowly.
Until he can't pull anymore.
Suddenly, there's no give, man. It's like he's trying to pull a building by himself. And they do these close-up shots to show, like, the rope is lovingly tied around. It's very, like, S&M. It's just, like, wrapped around like a bare arm, showing you the little sinewy muscle.
They've done this before.
Oh, yeah. This was their
That's
thing.
what he knew, because it cuts from that arm to his gorilla's face.
And he looks ready. He looks like, oh, man.
Because he says to him, he goes, "Steve Chase, you son of a god."
I thought he said gun.
Oh, I thought he said you son of a god, but he might say you son of a
I'll
god.
go with it.
I mean, it's accurate.
I've seen this man with his shirt off.
He does. Well, that's what I wrote in my notes. I was like, damn right he is.
And, so they're very happy to see each other again. They'll never forget those hot summer nights playing tug of war.
This gets very awkward, because Steve wins, by the way, and we should say that Gorilla's about 2 times the size of Steve.
Oh, I think, Gorilla could have won that one, but, for old time's sake, he was going to go down for Steve.
Yeah, well, he was jacked like hell. He was rhino hard at that point, man. He wasn't able to...
I mean, and I'm sure I speak for everyone on this episode when I say, me too.
Aren't we all? Yes.
I mean, man, how do you walk out of that one and not have to take off something?
No, this episode is 100% sponsored by Blue Chew. But this is very awkward, is that when Gorilla falls into the mud, he gets out and he's covered in mud, and Steve looks at him and he says, "That color suits you better?" I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, Steve?
We're a bit late in the game to insert racism.
Yeah, like, what the hell?
We don't need...
I wanted to point that out because this struck me as funny, just the fact that, it's a South African film. You've got this, great big hulking African-American actor, and they call him Gorilla. That kind of threw me a bit. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have the great, funny comment.
The one black guy in this movie.
Yeah.
Though, I have a theory now about the next line. And so, because, he says to him after the color thing, he says, "I have a job for you." And Gorilla says, "I already have a job. A good one. Ever since I got banned from wrestling." And, I think that's why he said that color always suited you. He was a mud wrestler.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
That's where he met him.
Yep. They once had a little thong mud wrestling match in the middle of a bar.
Yeah, and
that tracks.
So seeing him coated in mud reminded him of the old times. He was like, "Hey,
Bobby, Chuck, why did he get banned from wrestling?"
Oh, because he used to after he beat an opponent, he bit their ear off. It was his thing.
So every match, his finishing move was, like Goldust has the Shattered Dreams.
Shattered Dreams, yeah.
Gorilla has the ear bite. So after every match, he would bite a dude's ear off.
Yeah, Jake would put the snake on you. The $1 Million Man would stuff money in your mouth. He'd lean down and just rip off your ear with his teeth.
Dude, imagine if you had to face him twice. Like, holy shit,
man.
dude. You can't do the job.
You'd never hear the end of it. Thank you.
It's a 2 out of 3 fall match there.
It's like, well, no wonder you got banned from wrestling, dude. Biting off everybody's ear.
Yeah. And he's just like, I can't help it. We never revisit this.
What, the fact that he's a
whenever he defeats an opponent, he bites off their ear. We never talk about it again.
Now, could you imagine that in a mud wrestling bar where some guy wins a match and bites another dude's ear off?
You're like, I think that guy just lost an ear. I can't tell. Like, he spat something out, and that dude's holding his head and screaming.
Man.
But I thought, because I've seen a movie before, that later on, we're going to have a scene where Gorilla is going to get into a skirmish of some kind of one-on-one, and he's going to defeat somebody and then bite that person's ear off. Or like he was going to, the chips were going to be down, and Gorilla was going to end up biting an ear out of desperation, and that's what was going to turn the tide. No, we never addressed it again.
You thought you were going to get like a Swayze in Roadhouse, where he says something about how, I ripped a dude's throat out, but you'll never see that, audience, until the end of the movie when I do that.
Because that's how stories work. But the writer in the interview even brings that up, and he's just sort of like, yeah, that was a whoops. Like, oh yeah, I know, I brought that up, and then I never had it pay off. Whoops. Sorry, guys.
And then Mike Tyson stole that move years later.
Mike Tyson, you hack!
I'm going to confront him about that.
So you remember how Gorilla had this job? Well, easy come, easy go, right? Because the boss just comes over and goes, hey, quit fucking around, you're fired.
And he goes, well, you can't fire me because I quit.
No, you're fired.
No,
you're fired.
Duck season. Rabbit season. And this is the first time that you realize why he's called Gorilla, because when he got flustered, he just pounded his chest and screeched at him and showed his teeth.
Also, by the way, Bobby, perfect way for him to bite a dude's ear off right here. Right here.
He goes, you're right, I did get fired. But, so he now doesn't have a job to keep him from reuniting with his old flame. And so he walks over to Steve, now that he's free, and gives him a big, muddy hug.
Yeah, and then he says to him, it suits you better, Steve.
Yeah. Got him.
So then we go to this, I don't even know how to explain it. It's some sort of like...
It's a junkyard trailer
That's
park?
exactly what I wrote in my notes, junkyard trailer park.
It's like, this is like the establishing shot of like a Larry the Cable Guy movie.
It is like South African Bronx Warriors is what I was thinking. Like they live in some sort of like the side of town that's like post-apocalyptic. So like, people are just living in hollowed out buses and like you have like a trash that runs around and everything.
Yeah, it feels almost like this is a homeless community that just all grabbed, what was left of vehicles in a junkyard and made homes inside everything.
And Steve comes in, and I absolutely love this part, is he comes up to the guy at the front, I guess the watchman of the homeless camp, and he says,
which is just a bearded guy in a lawn chair.
It's just like a Santa Claus dude, and he walks up to him.
He's like the granddad in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
God.
And he goes, hey, I'm looking for Gypsy Billy. And then the guy's,
And I gotta say, watching this in 2019, I was like, you're looking for what?
Well, that's his name. That we'll call him by his name in the movie, okay?
Yeah, I mean, we won't address that again. But, that's... I was like, well, that
don't
doesn't
worry,
hold up now.
He'll just disappear halfway through this movie, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, he's a guy. But then he's like, this guy's homeless. He needs a little bit of cheddar, So he's like, hey, that information don't come free. And he pays the guy, but here's what I love about it is Gypsy Billy has painted his fucking name on the side of a bus.
Yeah, because he finds Gypsy Billy because he finds the trailer that has Gypsy, ex-champion of the world.
Yes, and it's like, Steve, if you just walked in, you would have found him immediately, dude.
Could have saved yourself a pair of Georges.
I'll say...
It's a bus painted white with black spray paint on it that just says that. It's very prominent. You could probably see it from the parking lot. But he goes into this bus where Gypsy Billy lives with a bus full of chickens.
Now the thing is, it said Gypsy Billy, and then the first shot is he looks inside and there's a chicken sitting on the driver's seat, and I was like, tell me Gypsy Billy's a chicken.
God damn. If it was a chicken...
I got the magic dude, I got the big black strong man, and I got a talking chicken named Gypsy Billy. That's
now
all
you got a
need.
team.
Bobby, I didn't think this movie could get me better, but you did it, my man. Like, that is...
Like, I just want him to go, Gypsy, I'm putting together a team. And the chicken's just like, he's like, of course I'll pay
This
you.
would have been great. Imagine them putting Gypsy Billy, the chicken, in a disguise later in the movie. Like one of the Sea Org shirts.
Oh, man.
Gypsy, stop! You're gonna blow our cover, man.
It's just pecking at a potato. He's like, you're gonna be under my
Gypsy,
control.
no!
They got Jip. They got Jip. He's on their side now. We're gonna have to fight him.
I would say this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. I can't even begin to explain to you how fucking great this movie is. Like, Grindbin listeners, if you have not seen this movie, and I'm so ashamed of you for not picking this for the Patreon poll. Now, I have never seen this movie before. Bobby said before we started recording that while he was watching this movie, in the first 20 minutes, he immediately ordered a Blu-ray.
Yeah. It was like at this point in the film, I bought the best copy I could get. Because the Amazon, you can watch it for free on Amazon Prime, but it is an old VHS rip. It looks like a bootleg. It's fuzzy. The sound sucks.
Also, on
it's
that
worth
note,
watching that way.
Back to, real quick, the Amazon Prime, they also have a Riff Tracks version, but it's edited like a half an hour out of it, unfortunately, but it's still pretty funny.
I don't think I could remove a half hour.
I know. I saw him. Like, there's so much
I think
missing.
you're missing some good stuff.
I know, this was an hour, 40 minutes, and I was like, by the end of it, I'm like, I need more. I don't just want it,
Yeah.
I need it.
It doesn't happen very often with Grindbin movies, but playing it at normal speed, paying attention, I thought it ended too soon.
Dude, this could have been Avengers length, and I would have been just fine.
Oh, man. And much like Endgame, there's just no spot to use the bathroom.
So, Gypsy Billy is unfortunately
we
not
do
a
finally
chicken.
meet Gyps.
Yeah, he's not a chicken. He's just a man who lives with tens of chickens in a hollowed
He's like
out
Gonzo
bus.
the Great.
Yeah. Basically. He's a live-action Gonzo.
He, like, has fashioned himself some sort of bed on top of the seats or something. Like, it's a real sad situation.
Yeah.
Because when he walks in, he goes, Gypsy, I got a job. And he goes, I'm retired.
And the thing is, this feels like he's recruiting Ernest.
Know what I mean, Vern?
Just like, and like he's like, go away, I'm retired. And he's like, they got Verd. And then he stands up.
They got Vern.
He's like, you just tell me where they are. But then as they're trying to leave, he gets his hands caught in the window.
I was just thinking how amazing it would have been if you had like a buddy cop movie with Ernest and Bronson. They got Vern.
They found a body, Ernest. The coroner took some time to figure it out, but he said it was Vern. And Ernest just grabs Bronson's gun out of its holster. He's like, follow me.
You see like all sorts of things where like Bronson gives him a gun, but at one point he tries to use it, it just has the bang flag that comes out of it or something. He's like, oh, he's a real joker.
Oh, God. Bronson shoots somebody right between the eyes, and Ernest just turns to the screen and goes, ew.
So no, he recruits Gypsy Billy by physically forcing him to go.
He like throws him in an armbar and drags him out of here like a kid getting snatched up from a toy store. Like, my dad did this when I was out sledding once. Like, in front of all my friends, he was just like, get your ass over here.
And you were wondering why he called you Gypsy Bobby.
Yeah, and incidentally, my dad also practiced martial arts in the basement.
Oh, you know what? That's amazing.
No, my dad was one of those guys. Like, he watched Enter the Dragon and was like, psh, I can do that. And so he's just like downstairs when he was home. You know, he was a truck driver, so he was gone a lot. But when he was home, he was just in like shirtless and sweatpants downstairs, like watching Sammo Hung movies on VHS and trying to do the moves. Fun bit of trivia, you guys. I have a pair of scars on my chin. You don't see it because I have facial hair, but I'll tell you a quick story because it relates. The first one I got was actually when I fell in a public restroom in Vermont. Where,
I've done that.
You know, it was the first time
in Vermont.
You fell in a public restroom in Vermont?
Well, I mean, not
Fantastic.
in Vermont, but in, as a kid in a public restroom, busted my chin open, so I can sympathize.
Oh yeah. So it was the first time I'd seen, motion sensor toilet flushing.
You were so
very
shocked you
impressed.
just immediately passed out and hit your chin on the on the urinal.
Close to it, actually, because I was amazed by, like, I can just wave my hand like a piss wizard and it'll flush on its own. And so I'm doing the wave. You know, I'm running along this row of toilets, of urinals, making them each flush one by one, and I didn't see the wet floor, and my feet went out from under me, and I went chin first into a urinal.
God damn.
And so, you know, I busted my chin open, and that eventually healed a little bit. And this is where the story starts to relate. You know, I'm a little boy, and I want to start doing this martial arts shit like my dad. You know, I want to at least be whatever color belt he decided he was. And
whatever one they had at the store that day.
And so I tried to do my best, you know, Steve Chase roundhouse kick.
Oh,
and
God.
I lost my balance, and I landed chin first on the ground, busting back open my toilet scar.
You know, Bobby, I was hoping it was going to be something like your dad tried the Steve Chase move where he's going to, like, punch within an inch of your face, and instead he just connects.
Yeah, he told me to hold this candle in front, and he was going to put it out with his kick, and then he just clobbered me in the jaw.
But you know what? And then when you woke up, he's like, hey, I put out the candle.
Walk it off.
That's great, Dad. I need to go to the doctor. Walk it off, son. Walk it off. You're fine.
So he forcibly pulls... Gypsy Billy out and forces him to go on the mission. And
I was hoping Gypsy Billy would be scream crying at this point.
Okay, but this is...
Just as he gets dragged out of the junkyard.
But this is my favorite start to a fight scene ever, in any movie, not just Grindbin movies, is that they go to the front and Gypsy Billy goes, hold on, I need my security deposit back. And he says to the guy, he's like, can I have my $5 back? And he gives him $2. And he goes, what about the other $3? And Steve kind of looks at him and he's like, Billy, you ain't going to leave here without that other $3. Like, Steve kind of cucks him. He's just like, no, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he can't be challenged by Steve, so he grabs this guy, and he calls the guy Vampire. I guess that's that guy's name, and because he sucks. And he picks him up and goes, a vampire, you damned thief, give me my dough.
Yeah, give me my $3. This is, okay, now what is more dramatic, the $2 kid in Better Off Dead, or the $3 guy in Kill and Kill Again?
$3 guy.
Yeah, because when he won't give him the $3, send in the goons.
And it's like a Batman fight scene. And I don't mean like Christopher Nolan, I mean like
Adam West, yeah.
like 66 Batman. Like you hear that and all these dudes
like
come out.
Like fucking 12 guys, we're going to fight over $3.
To be fair, it is a trailer park, so it makes sense.
$3 will get you far in that junkyard.
I mean, this is 1970s money in South Africa, so I don't know how far $3 could be worth $3 million.
I mean,
I have
Steve
no
bribed
idea.
Vampire with like what, $3 to begin with.
Yeah.
It's like a year's salary we're fighting about.
But I just love this fight scene. Is that Steve just sits back and watches Billy.
Oh, he grabs a beat up chair from the junkyard and kicks back at it.
Yeah, because there was a thing where Billy said, hey, I'm not even ready, you know. Well, here's your warm-up. And Billy takes out about 12 goons, man.
It's something, and we're climbing on, like, old busted-out cars and doing jump kicks off of them.
And I don't know about you. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but at this point, I can't stand up from the couch. Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know they made movies like this. Oh, my God.
Oh, God, I remember muttering under my breath, Gypsy Billy, I'll be your Vern.
I mean, I'm pulling up my collar at this point. I'm like, oh.
And Steve's kicked back in that chair, chest all glistening in the sun.
Oh, yeah. I had to double-check the rating again.
So Billy eventually wins. Like, he kicks all their asses, right? And then
we get the cool crane shot of all the dudes unconscious in the junkyard.
Oh, God. And then we cut to... So this ragtag team of 4 dudes that there are only 3 of... and that's true, because the fly is not there, are getting briefed on the potato fuel mission by those old dudes.
Yeah. And they're briefing them via vacation slides.
Oh, and this is so fucking good. Is that...
It was like they're at a timeshare presentation.
Like, if you stay through it, you get the free tickets to Disneyland. And this is so amazing how the plot is revealed, is that one of the old guys who's leading this slideshow, he goes... Oh, yeah, so you're going to have to go take the doctor back, and he's been kidnapped by this dude.
Did you write down the
Yeah,
name?
of course,
'Cause it's amazing.
Marmaduke.
No,
no.
his real name.
Yeah. Okay, so his real name, Bobby. Go ahead.
They go, well, you've heard of Wellington Forsythe III, haven't you? And of course, we're talking about Steve here. He's heard of everything.
Of
You read
course,
the script.
yeah.
He goes, yeah, he went missing on an archaeological dig. They're like, well, no, he didn't go missing. He now runs this island, and he calls himself Marmaduke
Okay,
now.
his name is Marduk, but we're going to call him Marmaduke.
Marduk, which is also the name of a character in the fighting video game Tekken.
Oh, which is also the name of a cartoon comic strip about a giant dog. But this is what I love about this part so much, is that they just are like, oh yeah, did we forget to mention that there's like a cult leader named Marmaduke who runs this big cult that kidnapped the doctor? I feel like that's not really that important to you, Steve, but you probably should know that you're going to go fight an entire Scientology cult on this mission.
Yeah. So Marmaduke Kucinich has an entire army of potato people.
Yeah.
They've all been potatoes.
Yeah, he's controlling them with the mind potato. This is what I do right, Bobby. I'm like, this is fucking Turkish Superman shit. At this point, like, what?
That's actually where I had my note about, like, we got to send in Turkish Superman about this. But he hasn't read about it in the Daily Dunya yet. He's still on the lubricant beat. He hasn't gotten to the potatoes yet.
Yeah, done you right, man.
That's right.
So, yeah, they go, so, yeah, you need to, like, go stop Marmaduke and rescue the doctor, and he's potatoed a whole bunch of people. It's really fucking crazy. So you still good for the mission?
That's right. Be careful. Don't get tatered.
Yeah. And Steve's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And they're like, oh, yeah, we kind of want Candy to go because, you know, it's her dad, and also, like, she's the only person we really trust.
That is true, but there's an important detail here, though, that they cover, because he asks, where did you get these photos of him if he's so protected on his potato island? And they explain, well, he's always had a weakness for pretty girls, and so one of our operatives is working as a photographer there. So they have an agent in there already.
Oh, this
and that's
is
how they know how this operation is being
amazing. When we get
and by the way, if you're watching the Blu-ray of this, Marmaduke's beard is hanging on for dear life. That thing is actively moving on his face while he talks.
Oh god, I love Marmaduke so much. But okay, before this scene ends, when we get to Marmaduke, okay, the rich dudes say they want Candy to go, and Steve looks at me, he's like, I said no women. God damn it, why can't you understand that the boys and I want to take a trip, and we want no women, okay?
Look at the sign. No chicks.
Yeah, he even says, he goes, it's Marmaduke and me. And they're like,
which is the sequel to Marley and Me, where they have to figure out what to do about this giant dead dog that fell on the house.
Okay. The next scene we get is Marmaduke. We finally get to see him, and like you said, Bobby, what a magnificent beard that is hanging on for dear life. And he is watching my next favorite character in the movie, Optimus.
The Optimus.
So Optimus...
And this Optimus is his greatest warrior. And he's doing a 5-on-1 white guy karate demonstration for all of Marmaduke's girls.
I would say, to describe Optimus, he's basically like Jaws from James Bond.
Oh, yes. Definitely. He definitely seems like Richard Kiel. Only he's got a Hulk Hogan mustache.
Yeah, if Jaws had a Hulk Hogan mustache and he could do karate.
So the perfect specimen.
That's why Marmaduke
really
said he's the perfect guy. Yeah,
he's the Optimus Prime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And true to what they prepared us for, Marmaduke is like Dolomite. He just has this harem of beautiful women that are just sitting around with him doing nothing.
Yeah.
So clearly a revolution happened on this island because we're all hanging out by the pool.
Oh, absolutely. We missed the cake scene, but I'm sure they had one.
Oh, yeah. It was a potato cake, though.
But
it was latkes. Yeah. Potato pancakes.
That's a big latke cake.
Oh, man. You don't eat the latkes. They're mind control latkes.
So the tall guy... So
once again, Mike is at the Vons by his house yelling about mind control latkes. They're like, take this guy away.
Come on, it's a Ralph's, Bobby.
You're the Alex Jones of that Ralph's.
So Optimus like beats up all these guys, and Marmaduke has this like great monologue where he's like, Optimus, you truly are the greatest specimen, which I'm assuming this is very, very close to the things that Vince McMahon would tell Hulk Hogan backstage after a match.
Oh, definitely.
He goes, you're the perfect specimen, and you will remain on top until someone can vanquish you.
Oh man, it would be so great if then Optimus went, "That doesn't work for me, brother," and demands more money before he does any more fighting. I've been to the top of the mountain.
Do you think Optimus has like a Brutus Beefcake friend that he wants to bring along everywhere?
Oh yeah, there's a brother Brudai for sure.
And you think he's got a Jimmy Hart that carries his drug bag?
You say your prayers, you eat your potatoes. Yeah, what you gonna do, Steve? But as he's just fapping over the Optimus, you suddenly hear off screen, "Honey child."
You know what's so amazing about this? Like, this is inadvertently the gayest movie we've ever watched. I know they didn't intend for this to be, but this is the most homoerotic movie. Like,
I've never seen a movie so accidentally gay.
Well, also, if we're going that route, and since Bobby's here, I got to mention A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Wonderful film, absolutely. Where everyone knew except for the director that they were making a movie about homosexuality. And he's just like, "This movie's about what?" Like it's that director and the director of Slumber Party Massacre. Just like, I made what?
Yes.
So we hear "Honey child," and he turns and he goes, "Yes, Minerva," and enters my favorite character in this movie, Minerva. Now, are you fellas by chance, like me, G.I. Joe fans from back in the day?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day.
They straight up lifted this for one of the characters. There's a Dreadnought named Zarana. She's Zartan's sister. And she has this exact hair. She wears pink shirts all the time.
I made a note that Minerva is like 80s before the 80s even started.
Oh, it's dope. She looks like she fell out of Gem and the Holograms and landed on this potato island. And actually, this plan for this movie sounds like something the Misfits would do to stop Gem.
Yeah.
They're like, if we use this potato drug to control everybody, Gem won't have time to enter the Battle of the Bands.
Now, Minerva might be my favorite character, and I'm not even joking, in Grindbin history.
She's so good.
It's crazy how she just does not fit in with anything else going in this movie. And everything she's
just there being fabulous and doing her own thing.
Everything she says to Marmaduke, he's just like, "Would you stop? Would you stop it?"
Because her gimmick, brother, is that everything she tells him has to end with a term of endearment, and it's a different one every time. So she says, "Honey child," he says, "Yes." She goes, "I have news, angel face," and he's pulling a contortion on his face, and she goes, "Steve's coming."
Well, because he says,
and he's so excited.
He says, when she calls him angel face, he goes, "I told you not in front of the ladies, please. Don't call me those names." Now, are they romantically
and
involved?
I think they are, and every time he says, "Please stop," calling me these mushy things from everybody, she'll either blow him a kiss or wink at him.
Yeah, well, because, that one part she goes, "The ladies?" Like, what? Do you think she's like...
Also, I'm pretty sure she's down with the ladies, too.
Yeah, well...
Because she interacts with everybody the same way. She's like a counterpoint to Steve. Every person she talks to, she acts like she's already had sex with them.
She's more down with the ladies than Marmaduke is. He is
It was the
clearly...
80s, and Minerva's down with the ladies.
Oh, wow. She's got that funky cold Medina.
Marmaduke is clearly overcompensating by having his, all these beautiful women around him and everything, but he's like, but...
I mean, this guy is literally wearing a fake beard.
Yeah, and he's like, "I love this giant man Optimus, and I can't wait for my new boy toy Steve to come on the island and face him."
Oh, he cannot wait. And she goes, "There's another problem, though. The doctor's out of control, honeysuckle."
Okay, I told you, again, in front of the ladies, please, Minerva.
And then she's just...
I feel like she walked into a room once where she saw something she wasn't supposed to, and then she knew she had all the leverage in the world.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what happened. She walked in on him just being cradled by the Optimus and was like, "Well, I've got a job for life." Yeah, the Optimus was dropping the big leg, brother. She saw the 25-inch python.
Absolutely.
And she explains that there's a problem with the doctor. She thinks that the drugs may have worn off. And he goes, "Well, take me to him." And so they hop in the Cobra helicopter.
Oh, yeah. So they have their own private helicopter. They fly around the base and all sorts of things. This thing looks...
I expect them to pan down and someone's remote controlling it.
Yeah.
It's so small. This is like a trouble bubble from G.I. Joe.
So they go to visit the doctor, and then this is great, is when they go to visit the doctor turns to him and he goes, "Hey, Marmaduke, I just learned from the news that I was kidnapped." Wait, what?
Fake news.
First of
fake
all,
news.
yeah. First of all, you're running a cult, and then you have the cult members able to watch CNN. Like, what is going on here?
Like, how are you not monitoring the TV on the Scientology compound?
And he's like, yeah, I just learned I was kidnapped from the news. And he's like, no, you're here because you want to better mankind. And then he's like, oh, is that so? And he goes, yeah, no. We're going to take that potato drug, that mind control thing, not the gas. Don't worry about that. We're really excited that we have gas for life and everything, and it's cool to get around the island for free forever. But no, we're going to take that like mind control thing, and we're going to put it in the water supply of the world.
Yeah, and that secret operation is cleverly called Operation Water Supply.
So what? They're just going to like take it and go, well, dump it in the ocean. I guess we'll just figure out what happens from here.
I just want to see the idiot army members just like throwing potatoes in a public pool.
You know what this is? This is just like the fucking plot to the third Batman movie in the Nolan trilogy. Like
in the Nolan trilogy,
yeah.
This is a Bane.
It really
idea.
is. It's like when Bane is like, "Nah, we're gonna take Pittsburgh and drug the water," and they're like,
"Your potatoes must be more severe."
Okay, whatever you say, dude.
Perhaps he was wondering why you would potato a man.
So we're gonna poison the whole water supply, and the doctor's like, "Well, dude, I'm not on board for that, Marmaduke." And he's like, okay, hold on, inject him right now." And then they put some mind control drug into the doctor, and then he's like, "It'll be ready in 5 days," and that's it.
Operation Water Supply will commence.
Operation
Don't worry about it.
Water Supply.
But it doesn't feel right, though. He says something's incredibly wrong here. I want you to search the entire lab. And of course, Minerva's like, "Sure thing, sugar britches."
This is what really the only thing that upset me about this movie is that it took this long to introduce the second greatest character in Grindbin history.
Oh, man.
So Steve only has a group of 3 guys, right? But he needs that 4th.
There's one more member of this team.
And guys, Chuck, do you want to introduce this character? Because you being a longtime Grindbin listener and one of the Grindbin 4 that there are actually only 3 of, I think you should do the honors of introducing the greatest character to maybe grace the screen in all of Grindbin.
Why don't you set the scene for us, Chuck?
Well, Steve and his illustrious band are coming up on, looks like an old barn. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but you hear guys in there. It's a warehouse. There's guys. One guy's got a gun, and it's like the strangest game of Russian roulette.
South African roulette.
Yeah, South African roulette, and they're placing bets. And this is the character of Hot Dog, and he spins the chamber and throws the gun wherever and lets it just fire and bullet ricochets. And I guess hope you don't get shot.
Yeah. So what are they betting on?
Yeah, I don't think they understand how the betting system works. They just lay money on the table, and I guess if you get shot, you win.
Yeah, I wasn't clear on the rules.
Because, okay, you say, like, in the rules of South African roulette, you load the gun fully, so all 6 chambers have a bullet in it, and then Hot Dog either drops it on the ground or throws it somewhere. The gun fires, a bullet goes off, and then somebody wins money somehow.
Honestly, if we have any listeners in South Africa, can you explain your bullshit to us?
And we have to say that then we get introduced to Hot Dog's his signature move, which is the most fucking insane signature move. He does this twice in the movie, where he takes a cigarette out of a guy's mouth, dips it into a beer. You see, this is how specific this move has to be, right? His signature move is he takes a cigarette out of a man's mouth, dips it into a beer, takes a hit off the cigarette himself, hands it back to the man, and says, "Hot dog."
Makes perfect sense.
Clearly.
You've been dogged. Okay.
That's it. I'd rather get Steve.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah. So then all of a sudden there's a strange whisper from the door because this is Steve's like love call to Hot Dog.
Well, it's the signal that only Steve could have done.
And Hot Dog hears it and he like kind of floats over to the door and he's like,
"Oh yeah, like Bugs Bunny." like the steam coming off a pie.
His heart is fluttering as he opens the door and he goes, "Steve?" And he looks.
That could only be
He
Steve.
looks at him and Gorilla and Gypsy Billy are with him and he just goes, "Are you assembling again?"
Oh god. And of course,
is
you know,
insane.
why wouldn't you need him for this mission though? A chubby guy who can't do martial arts who's walking around in a Budweiser
Who
hat.
also has a fucking orange shirt that says the words hot dog on it.
Speaking of Batman henchmen.
And Hot Dog's like, hey, I can't go because I'm like in the middle of this South African roulette game.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a mass suicide, guys. I really can't go on your vacation. Besides, are there chicks though?
Yeah, well, he's not interested in that. That's why. Yes, he's like, there's no women on this trip, is there? And they're like, well. So Gorilla convinces him to go by just fucking like basically grabbing him by the shirt collar and says like, no, you're coming with us.
And he's like, well, I guess that means I'm coming with you guys.
So now the boys are flying on some sort of weird ass private jet, which has couches for seats. This is
pretty sweet. I think this is Vince McMahon's plane.
Yeah, except this is crazy because I guess you just take off in a couch with no seatbelt. It's a very weird way to sit on an airplane.
Yeah. When they're about to land, you have to return the couch to its original position because it folds out into a bed. This is a whole Mile High thing that they're used to as a group.
Well, this is oh god, I can't tell you how many levels that this scene is just so deep with great moments that like. So first of all, they're on a fucking private jet with couches. Nobody knows where the fly is.
Yeah, everyone's like, well, hold on, the group's not finished. Where's the fly? And they're like, I don't think he's coming this time, guys.
And Hot Dog is pissed, by the way. Absolutely.
Oh, Hot
livid.
Dog only wanted to see the fly.
And he's like, but Steve, we can't go without him. We need the fly.
We can't do a concert without our keyboardist.
And at the same time that he's complaining, Gorilla really wants to get into the bathroom.
No.
Well, one thing they established first is that B.A. Baracus doesn't like to fly. Much like the A-Team, which came out when this movie came out, the token black guy is really not okay with being up in the air that high. But they mentioned he's never been on a plane before, but more importantly than that, Gorilla's got a shit, man.
And there's somebody in the bathroom. That somebody, by the way, is the pilot.
I assumed co-pilot. But yeah, it's one of the pilots. And I don't know if you guys caught this bit of dialogue, but while Gorilla is pounding on the door because he doesn't understand what occupied means, the guy inside goes, hey, hold your horses, I'm holding mine.
And Gorilla eventually gets into the bathroom by ripping the fucking airplane door off. Like, he rips the bathroom door.
The bathroom door off, not the airplane door. He didn't crash the plane.
Although that would have been amazing. He's like, look, man, I got to take a shit, all right?
I'm either shitting in here or I'm shitting outside.
So he rips the airplane bathroom door off, and the pilot's like, dude, as he goes back to his to go fly the plane, and Gorilla goes in to take a shit. But I love this as Hot Dog goes, Steve, do you see this over here? And apparently, this makes no sense. Is Candy Cane is on this flight. Now, we got to mention how small this jet is. It is just one cabin.
It's like a Cessna.
It is, yes. It's you can fit 2 couches in here, and Candy Cane is just sitting in the back of the plane, and apparently nobody noticed her throughout the entire flight.
Like, to not know she's there, everyone would have had to have not yet looked left.
She's sitting right next to them, and Hot Dog's like...
And they all turn like, oh, what the fuck? There's a woman on this plane.
Yeah, Hot Dog acts like he's one of the fucking little rascals. He's like, this is the He-Man Woman Haters Club, Steve.
What's Darla doing here?
And then he comes up and he's like, oh, Candy, why are you here?
Well, first of all, I own the plane.
Yeah, she goes, first of all, I own the plane. Second of all, it's my father. And third, I know where the fly is.
He goes, okay then, Duchess, let's see how smart you are.
To explain what happens now is, like, we cut from the plane. We will never reference that plane again. I don't know where the fuck we are. Because we're
nowhere. We're in the shadow realm.
We had described, though, by the way, guys.
I like to call it the further.
Doesn't the cult live on an island?
Yeah, the Scientologists are on an island.
So how the fuck do we get to where we're going?
It's like we didn't want to have to worry about figuring out. She knows where the fly is, so we just cut to getting the fly.
So the next thing is we cut from the plane to, like you're saying, Bobby, I almost thought this was in his mind, is that she said, I know where the fly is, and they had some sort of...
This is some...
Yeah,
the fly is in all of us. He's the Schwartz.
Yes, I thought this was some sort of, like, they're going to meet each other in the nether realm, like, with their minds.
Like we needed they needed to pull out like a metronome or something, and everyone had to join hands and close their eyes.
Real
like,
Dream Warriors
count
type
backwards
thing.
from 10. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna go see The Fly, and then
All of a sudden, we cut to a ring of candles.
like I thought I made the joke a second ago, but like I thought the lipstick demon from Insidious was gonna attack him. We're gonna tiptoe through the tulips with The Fly.
And the Fly is in this ring of candles, and Steve joins him, and they just both so Steve says, "I need you, Fly," and then Fly does his floating trick.
And
Let me point
they're
something
sitting
out.
there crisscross applesauce.
Is a great line is, "I need your feet."
Yes, he says, "I need your feet."
And in the back of the theater, you see that? That's what I'm talking about right there. This is the best scene in this movie. I'm going to steal it from my
Do
next
you
one.
think when that relationship between him and Uma Thurman eventually ended, is that she came home, he had a ring of candles, it was a dark room, and Quentin Tarantino said to her, "I need your feet."
I think that's what it said on the card that came with the edible arrangement.
And she just walked out and took her stuff.
And so yeah, they're sitting there across from each other, crisscross applesauce, and the Fly starts to float up in the air. Now, if you watch this on Amazon Prime, maybe it looks impressive. If you watch this on Blu-ray, you see the lift that he's sitting in.
You could see the fucking forklift on him.
Yeah, you see the fucking pulley system that they got Gorilla pulling a rope to pick him up off the ground.
Some union gaffer just in the background with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
You see the black barber cherries sitting in it. They're just sort of pumping it so it goes
we
up.
got him. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. We're going on break, though, so you might want to end this.
Yeah, we'll
scene.
do your little floating thing, whatever you want.
But, yeah, Steve is sitting there and he goes, "Another one of your games, Fly?" And Fly goes, "Maybe illusion, maybe real. Can you match me?" And they begin passionately making love. Just, my God, the bodies intertwined. No, instead, Steve gets on his own little lift chair on his side. And he goes and floats
No,
up.
I mean, seriously, without having a sex scene, this is the gayest sex scene I've ever seen.
I think because that's a PG rating, I think that's what this is supposed to symbolize. They went into a dark room, lit only by candles, and each of them rose up.
I imagine this is kind of like how you have sex in Demolition Man.
Yeah, this is the exact same
I'm pretty
scene.
sure this is how it happens.
They put on their helmets, and they each start
Yeah.
floating.
So
Yeah, needless to say, the Fly is fucking in now because Steve could float. But here's the thing. I screened this last weekend with a group of friends, and a friend brought up a good point. So if Steve can do the floaty thing too, what do we need the Fly for?
dude, you need his feet.
Clearly, he needs feet. Yeah.
Just his feet.
Yeah. You don't get it?
And we never,
I think, you know what?
much like the ear
Pause
biting
this
thing.
podcast. Go watch this movie again, Bobby. I think you need to watch it one more
Okay,
time.
guys, I'll be right back. Oh man, guys,
You get it now?
Need a cigarette?
I needless to say, I got it.
Okay, so the next thing after Bobby finally knows why we need those feet, is we cut to the boys driving in some car in the middle of nowhere. Okay, I got lots of fucking questions at this point. 1, we're supposed to be going to an island. 2, where the fuck did they get the rental car? 3, how did they get to the goddamn island? 4, how many fucking towns are on this island? Because they keep asking people for directions to this fucking town. Why not just fly to the goddamn place on the island where you need to go?
Well, because they're looking for someone to do that, Mike. They have to make it. They told their wives they were going on a fishing trip, so it has to look real.
So somehow they have driven through the ocean to the island where they need to go to.
Well, they got cars that can drive to the
skip it
moon. It
across
makes
the
sense.
sea.
You know what, Chuck?
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't think of that. Thank you.
Well, see, Mike, you wouldn't understand because your car doesn't run on potato
Guys,
fuel.
I need to pause the podcast and go watch the movie again. Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead.
Oh boy, I get it. I get it perfect.
You
Yep,
got it?
Yeah.
It's all so
There's
clear.
potatoes all over the apartment.
You got your own Marmaduke compound?
Yeah. This is going to be hard to
Your
explain
Mike
to my
Nuke?
wife where there's a bunch of potatoes in the trash can with holes drilled in them.
You know, I think you better serve her up some hash browns and then explain it to
Sounds
her.
good. So, no, they're going on this road trip, which we know they're on a road trip because guess what? They fucking put their luggage on the luggage rack. On the top of the... And then, for no reason at all,
Seriously.
Steve goes, pull the side of the road. Let's take a little break.
Break by the river, guys.
And when they get out, Steve goes, well, Candy, since you've decided to join us, I guess I'll have to teach you the basics after you cook us breakfast.
Oh!
Misogyny at its best.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, Steve?
And then we do an interesting thing where we're cutting between Steve and Candy and Marduk and Minerva, I believe. Yes. And it's showing the yin and yang of it all, the simultaneous good guy and bad guy simultaneously mansplaining karate to a woman who already knows about it.
Well, we learned that because, yes, at one point, Steve says, I'm going to school you in the way of martial arts. In so many words, Candy. Are you ready? And he's like doing that thing where, he punches like within an inch of her face and he's like roundhouse kicking.
He's just sitting there going like, yeah.
Let's not forget to point out that he is completely topless in this scene too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that chest.
And he is topless and he is harder than South African algebra.
And this is amazing, is that he hands his arm off to Candy. He's like, ugh, and then she, surprise, flips him over her back. She's already an expert. And that's when Steve looks at her and he goes, I should have known. And I was like, you should have known, Steve. You're a fucking expert in everything.
And right before he hits that punchline, she walks over to the boys who are all sitting together on a log in a row, and she just kicks one of them, and they all go over at the same time, Three Stooges style. She, like, stooge kicks them, like, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, like they're the fucking cast of Screwballs, too, just falling
off the company music as well.
Oh, it's Looney Tunes, man.
So then we cut to Minerva, and she goes, Marmaduke, are you sitting down? Because Steve's on the way.
And he's like, am I sitting down? Does it look like the Optimus is here? I have one place to sit on this island.
And she calls him another pet name, and he goes, not in front of the girls.
Yeah, this time it was Operation Water Supply's on schedule, pumpkin pie. And after he says, don't call me this in front of the girls, she goes, you're absolutely right, Chuckles. And then suddenly, a fucking parrot from the tiki room.
Oh, God, this is... And by the way...
looks up and goes, Chuckles, Chuckles!
Hey, don't worry, guys. Maybe the greatest callback ever. We'll get to that. Just remember there's a parrot in this movie. So,
don't forget.
Do not forget. So then...
have a Dole Whip and think about it.
So then we get to Steve and the boys, and they're like, well, on our giant road trip where we landed on the whole fucking other side of this goddamn island, let's go into this local saloon. Because why not, right?
We have a little, like, handwritten sign that's been nailed up that says the Wildwood Saloon.
And I was like, because we do need a bar fight in this movie, so let's get it on, right? So Steve walks into the bar, and he asks the bartender for directions. And the bartender's like, well, we only give friends directions around here. And that's when we cut to one of my favorite characters in this scene, which is Smiling Cowboy Hat Man.
Who suddenly, he makes his presence known by gleeking out a candle from across the room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and by the way, Bobby, before he does that, Hot Dog sees his opening. There's a cigarette.
Because he sees that the bartender's got a stogie.
And there's a beer.
And so he pulls the cigar out of the bartender's hand at this point, because the bartender had just taken it out of his mouth, and he dips it in the beer. He takes a hit and goes, Hot Dog.
This is what I wrote in my notes. This is the oddest movie I've ever seen.
What is even happening? This is like aliens wrote this, and they think they're fooling us.
Like, is this guy's signature move in the South African comedy circuit? Like, is this kill or is this some sort of inside joke or some shit?
Oh, everybody does this in South Africa. It's called the South African dip.
Oh, okay. So Steve says, that's what he says to him. He goes, I'd like to buy everyone a drink. And that's when Cowboy Hat gleeks out a candle. And I'm like, this movie just got fucking weirder, dude. I think he's...
For anyone who didn't experience this in elementary school, gleeking is not quite spitting, but like there's a flick of the tongue and the irritation of a gland in your mouth that can squirt.
Yeah, I thought Bobby at first that he was some sort of like lizard man or like a frog or something. I'm like, holy shit, dude, this goes to the top, man.
Well, we are poisoning the water supply, so
right?
Maybe it is.
But then Steve, he's got a one-up fucking Gleek boy over here. So he takes out a pair of nunchucks that we'll never see again in the entire movie.
To be clear, well, this particular pair. But yeah, Hot Dog reaches into his backpack. Hot Dog has a backpack at all times in this, by the way. And it's where he keeps his goodies. Hot Dog's thing isn't martial arts, but rather Kevin McAllister Home Alone style attacks. So yeah, he reaches into his magic bag and... No, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say it's not like
It's not any sort of like...
It's not like any sort of useful weapons. It's just like you're saying, Home Alone style weapons. Like you know, if he went through that,
he just has a bag of shit.
There's one part where he throws a handful of rocks at somebody.
It's not rocks, but we'll
that's
get
what it
into
looks
that.
like on Amazon Prime. Okay, I'm like,
right. I have the Blu-ray, so I figured out what that was.
I'm like, that makes no sense. We'll get to that. But yeah, I feel like he's like, you got everything we need, hot dog. You got the paint can, you got the rope, you got the bicycle handlebars,
Micro
you got
machines.
the micro machines.
But so yeah, Hot Dog throws a pair of nunchucks to Steve. Like Steve didn't even look over at him; he just knew they were coming.
Of course he did.
Snatches him like RoboCop grabbing his car keys.
Oh god!
And so we get a brief demonstration.
Yeah, he proceeds to blow out every candle in the room with his nunchuck.
He chucks out candles.
Which, by the
with his
way,
nunchucks.
so South African bars on this island are lit by candlelight.
There's not a lot of electricity in South Africa.
What the fuck is going on?
You think those colonizers would get electricity up and running pretty quick, but no.
You know, next time I go to like one of those Mexican restaurants that has the candles on every table, you know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna go around blowing out all of them with nunchucks. Every table in the room, baby.
Sir, that payaso's here again? Yeah, he brought the nunchuck.
Absolutely, I did. And my wife brought him in her backpack. Come on.
And so, yeah, he offers, like, hey, I want to buy everybody here a drink. And then this cowboy goes, I'd like to buy you a drink. And he walks over, and he takes his beer that he was drinking, and he pours it on the fly's head.
Oh, wrong move.
But the fly, you know, he's a peaceful man. He's centered his chi. So he just stands there. He goes, I'm feeling extra generous today, guys. I'd like to buy you another drink. And as he walks over to do it again, Steve kicks the drink out of his hand, exploding the glass everywhere.
Oh, this is like a beautiful roundhouse that he just fucking full-on winds up and kicks that thing out of his hand.
And now it is fucking on because this squad starts taking people out. It doesn't matter if they were attacking or not. They're just grabbing people.
Oh, dude. Yeah, and they get this massive bar fight. They win, obviously. And not only do they win...
Of course. Now, a couple of things about their fighting style. Most everybody's doing their South African karate. Except Gorilla is just periodically snatching people by the throat and choking them unconscious. That's his whole move. It's just somebody walks by and he goes, give me that. Gotcha. And
by the way...
and meanwhile, Hot Dog is also not doing martial arts, but rather he's gesticulating wildly and making yip sounds like Dolomite.
By the way, missed opportunity. Gorilla could have had a freaking necklace full of ears after this bar fight.
Oh, man. He could have come out of here like it was Nam.
Yeah, some guy's like, holy shit, where'd you get that from, Nam? And he goes, no, South African bar fight.
Oh, just imagine at the end of this movie when, like, our boys are all walking all proud after winning, and then they pan over and, like, Creedence starts playing on the soundtrack. Just like, some folks born to raise the flag. And then, like, they pan up, and there's just a necklace of ears.
Yeah, Fortunate Son just blaring. So, yeah, they win. They get directions, by the way, from the bartender who tells them where the town is. But, by the way, just follow the one fucking dirt road and you'll get to the cult town. And then...
Also, for some reason, the bar falls on his head afterwards, like the rack of drinks behind him. There's no reason for that to have happened. They didn't fight the building.
No, that was a perfect comedy end, Bobby. That's like, that was a little wah, 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 before the scene ended.
Everyone should have froze at the end of that.
Yeah. So then we go to the cult camp, and I write, this is some serious shit, man. This is the first time we've actually seen it, and this is a full Scientology type of operation going on here.
Yeah,
this is like
it's like half... It's half Sea Corps and half Police Academy.
Yes, I was like, this looks like the goddamn Celebrity Center, man. This thing is huge.
Also, to point out that Marmaduke's his elite fighting squad are like YMCA rejects. Some of these guys, balding, overweight. I mean, like like I said, your dad doing.
Okay, it's the Karate Dads. He pulled like every household in America and South Africa. Like kids are checking the basement. Like, Dad, are you done with your practice? And there's no one there. Yeah. They're like, what happened? And the window's open. Yeah. Just a cold wind
Potato
blowing.
peels laying around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just the smell of potato.
I'm pretty sure if you saw a picture of the Sea Org, it would look very similar, guys. Like,
just a bunch of weird middle-aged dudes in like summer camp t-shirts.
Yep. And now, like, it's all right. You know, nobody's worried about the receding hairline because everybody's got the same receding hairline. You know.
Yeah, these guys they are dressed like they're at a summer camp. If it was shorts instead of workout pants, we'd be somewhere between like Enter the Dragon and Meatballs.
Yeah.
I think that explains this movie pretty well. It's somewhere between Enter the Dragon and Meatballs.
Imagine if Meatballs was actually revealed to have been a cult the whole time.
Everyone dies but Bill Murray in the end.
Matter.
Yeah. Are you ready for the summer? As all the kids are just dying.
Even if we die, even if every man, woman, and child on this island, it still wouldn't matter. Because all the really good-looking girls are going to go out with the guys from the Mohawk cult because they have all the money.
So what happens in the Scientology cult is we get a little introduction to the rules, is that one of the citizens, a man in his blue shirt, a YMCA reject, is trying to go somewhere with his Class A permit, and he gives it to a guard.
Yeah. It's basically, where's your hall pass?
Yeah, because the guard goes, where's your papers? And he goes, oh, here you go. And yeah. He goes,
no karate in the hallway.
Because he's like, where are you going? And the guy's like, I'm just going to go visit a friend or something. He's like, well, you need a Class A permit for that, and you don't have this. You must be disciplined. And then he's just like, actually, it's fine. You'll be fine. And then, Marmaduke's here.
Oh, shit.
And you know what? He doesn't let this shit fly, man.
Oh, no. Not only is this guy going to get punished for not having his hall pass.
1 week of solitary without rations, apparently.
Damn right. So one week without potatoes. And but also they end up clubbing the guard for leniency.
You know what I would really like it is if you found out at the end of this is just where the McDonald's French fries come from.
Oh,
like
man.
It's just some
after 6 weeks of the drug taking effect, you just look like a fry guy.
Yeah, like they're just. This is where they all come from, man. You wonder why they taste so good? It's South African slave labor. It's like some cult on an island.
Oh, just wide-eyed. It's Marduk and Ronald McDonald makeup, dude. Just wide-eyed, going, "No one can defeat the Grimace."
Da 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 da.
They got Grimace on the line whipping guys.
He's my undefeatable warrior. Hamburger is cracking the whip.
Everybody wonders why they taste so good, and nobody could unlock the secret. We got it. Steve, you revealed all. Thank you.
Ever since they overthrew Mayor McCheese.
So, and then Marmaduke, not only does he punish the Sea Org guy, he punishes the guard by, I say, he gets another guard to kind of Homie the Clown slap him over the head.
Letting this guy go? Whap! I don't think so.
Don't play that.
That's right.
Oh, God.
Minerva shows up again. I will never let us blow right by Minerva showing up again. And she explains, Operation Intercept happened at the bar. Because it turns out everyone in that bar was a potato person.
And Marmaduke got confused because he thought Operation Intercept was what him and Optimus did earlier.
Right. But so she clarifies, the one at the bar. He goes, oh, and he goes, well, did we win? And she goes, nope.
Fry Guys got taken out, and there's fucking Grimace blood everywhere.
She's like, oh no. Oh, we got robbled.
So then, then we cut to Steve and Candy having a moment in the park, and from what I can tell,
in the fucking Garden of Eden.
From what I can tell, they're both topless. Because you don't see down at chest level, but both of them have just bare shoulders.
Yeah, it's just, we're suddenly nude in a tree. Like, I don't know what was going on.
It's like we've cut to the, like, post-coitus or something, or like before a sex scene, and I'm like, wait, hold on.
She's washing her hair. I think that they were bathing in the river.
Yeah, because this road trip takes that fucking long that they need to stop for a goddamn bath in the river.
You know what? When Steve says you need to bathe, you need to bathe.
Yeah, come on, guys, stop the truck. We're all going to take a bath. But Steve, we're all going to take a bath.
Now, I'm not normally one to repeat myself. And then they just see him getting in the river.
No,
splash.
Do you think the real twist of this movie is that you're going to find out that, like, that Steve's actually the Burger King? And this is all kind of like a big takedown of McDonald's, man? I don't know, dude. This goes straight to the top, man. So now he tells like they're having this kind of like post-coital talk or like before sex scene talk. We don't really know what's going on. And while this is going on, I'm writing in my notes, I go, why are they both naked? When did the scene actually start? Because we've just jumped into the middle of it. And where are the boys?
Why is Steve eating a leaf? And why is Steve licking her shoulder while she's trying to talk to him?
Yes! He licks her shoulder, and then eventually we just cut to the boys who are watching this the whole time by standing right next to them.
It's like Little Rascals. We cut over, and they're just like, oh, damn, Alfalfa. He's like, Spanky.
Okay, I said, though, do you think if Steve had sex with Candy and they were all watching, that hot dog was going to do his catchphrase?
You know, he'd reach over, he'd grab Steve, he'd dip it in his drink, he'd hit off of it and go, hot dog.
And Candy's just watching.
I just think, well, what just happened? And so we move on now, and they are lost on the side of the road because there is one road in this entire damn country, but they still don't know where they are.
Again, we're on an island. We are on an island, apparently. How many fucking highways are there on this island? I assume one.
But, you know, fortunately, though, they were able to flag down a motorist. A big-ass truck shows up.
Yeah. And Steve says to him, he goes, do you know where the town is? And he's like, you mean the one fucking town in this whole island?
And he explains to him, he's like, well, you know, yeah, go ahead.
About this scene, it was just almost a crime. This is the one scene, I think, where Steve's chest is covered up. He's got that tank top. It's covering his chest up.
That is a crime.
What the
fuck? I think that's why this scene goes where it does.
Oh, because they don't know.
Because, even, like, Steve is often wearing a shirt, but he's doing a deep plunge.
Oh, yeah. They don't make a V-neck that deep.
Why bother with
just
buttons?
As my wife commented when we were watching this, Steve at all times is showing two neck. So, yeah, they pull this motorist, and he's like explaining, well, the reason you can't find that town is because they've changed the city's name. And it's a bunch of weirdos living there now. Why do you even want to know about this? And he goes, I'm just interested. And the driver of the truck goes, well, you know, if you want my advice, you stay interested from a distance. And Steve goes, well, now I'm really interested. And I'm like, are these guys going to fuck?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because when he gets out, when this...
You just hear...
When this truck driver gets out, pitch at a tent, and grabs Steve and says, you should take my advice, I'm like, this is PG, right?
And he pokes Steve in the chest, I guess with his finger? Yeah. And he says, you know, when I give someone advice, I expect them to listen. And he shoves him. And I'm like, why is this fight happening? This is so weird.
Because it was 5 minutes without a fight, dude.
So... yeah, and so they each land one punch on each other, and now, you know, they're both rhino hard.
Yeah.
And the bench is clear. So, you know, the two other guys in the guys in the cab jump out, and there's 2 of them, and then all of the boys and Candy get out, and so there's 5 of them. 6 of them? 6 of them. And Gorilla goes, piece of cake. And that's when the truck driver whistles.
And it's a clown car.
And the back of the truck opens.
The call of the Sea Org, they all start piling out.
And just hit that Killer Clowns music. There
are at least like 30 guys that get out of the back of that truck.
They just keep on coming. And just like every dad in that neighborhood just rolls out.
And there is a long-ass fight scene between the boys, and nobody poses a challenge to them, by the way. But this is the part... when I said that hot dog threw rocks at one point, please tell me what the fuck was going on. Because let me explain the scene, and then you can tell me what it actually was. Is that hot dog gets in a compromising situation where he like falls onto the ground, and these guys are in front of him. And from what you can see on the Amazon Prime version, is that he just grabs like a handful of rocks out of his pocket and like kind of Kevin McAllister's them on the ground, and then somehow defeats the bad guys with them.
So what happened was, if you're watching on the Blu-ray, earlier on, I believe it's when they're on the airplane, he finds a box of tacks.
Oh my god, that's worse than rocks.
Of just little thumbtacks. He finds like a box of them and he eyes them for a second and then he puts it in his bag.
Mick Foley, you hack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to stop a bad guy. He's going to be like, ow, I got a tack in my foot. So what? He stops the fight. He goes, wait, hold on, guys. I need a tetanus shot. Hold on.
Yep.
Stop it.
The hardcore icon, Hot Dog Foley.
All the Sea Org guys stop the fight. They need to go to the doctor. They need that tetanus shot. Fight over. Come on, man. You didn't say you'd be bringing tacks.
And so, yeah, they wipe the floor with these guys. And then we cut
With
back to
tacks.
Marmaduke. With tacks. And Marmaduke is outraged because his, quote, elite ground troops got defeated.
Now,
This was the elite ones.
Yeah. Marmaduke. She calls him Popsicle at this point, though. Minerva calls him Popsicle.
Yeah, Minerva comes out in like a hot pink hijab. I ain't mad at it. She looks fabulous at all times.
Oh, God.
And now bear in mind, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, she released an album 4 years later called The Pink Lady. So this was her trying to get over her gimmick of I am at all times clad in only pink.
Oh, she's not wrong. And hopefully one day we will...
Pink, you hack!
I hope one day not only will you get a response from her, but we can interview this lady. I would love it. I just want to know so much about this.
I mean, unfortunately, she didn't respond. 1, 2, 3. Fortunately, she responded. So we'll see. I'm trying. I succeeded. I failed.
Well, she calls him Popsicle.
And she explains to him, she reminds him, she's like, don't worry about the ground troops because you still have the Optimus. And he's like, oh, yes, right, the Optimus. Yeah, baby, the Optimus.
Yeah.
And she goes, also, we have Operation Skydive, Popsicle. And he goes, don't call me Popsicle. And the bird goes, Popsicle!
So after that, we cut to... There's about 30 minutes left in this movie. Why not just have a scene where Steve and the boys do some meditating?
Little yoga, little meditation time. And because you never want to forget the true soul of karate.
Runtime.
Oh, yeah. While they
Yeah.
were doing this, I just wrote in my notes, I go, remember when this was about potato gas?
Potato juice, actually, because as we've seen in the needles and later on, the mind control serum derived from potatoes is like Arctic Blast Mountain.
Yeah,
Dew.
and that's also, by the way, what the gas looks like,
Yeah.
too. So I think at some point somebody just drank the gas and realized, hey, I think this controls my mind.
Of course it does.
So that's when Operation Skydive happens. Just
Now, Mike, will you explain the complexities of Operation Skydive?
Okay. First of all, let's set the scene. Is now they're done. They are done with their meditation, and now they're playing a poker game.
We've done our hot
Yeah,
yoga.
they're playing a poker game on the hood of the Jeep instead of trying to actually do the rest of the fucking movie. They're playing a poker game, the boys are, and then all of a sudden they see a plane fly above with dudes just skydiving. And that is Operation
telling me-
Skydive.
Operation Skydive is
Like,
literally just we drop skydivers on
Five
them.
guys just skydive out of a
They'll
plane.
never expect us from the sky.
And Steve is just like, yeah, saw that coming.
And the Fly looks up at these guys, and they're all in red jumpsuits. So Slipknot is falling on them from a cargo plane.
Yes.
And the Fly looks up and goes, "Why do eagles have umbrellas?"
Fly speaks in.
And they pan over to Burt Ward, like punching his own fist. Like, why do eagles have umbrellas?
In Fly speaks in fortune cookie.
A sparrow with a machine gun.
You're right, Chuck. Yeah, he totally speaks in fortune.
Yeah, the Fly for some reason is an ancient Chinese secret.
Do you feel like one day I'm going to open a fortune cookie and the fly's just going to come out of it? Floating in front of my fucking chow mein, dude.
Well, if you're in the right restaurant, that happens.
Dude, maybe he's going to come floating right out of that thing and be like, holy shit.
You're going to hear the as he moves across your table.
And I'll look at him and I go, did we just have sex?
And he's like, was it an illusion or was it real? And so Steve and Gypsy Billy are fighting Slipknot while everyone's still playing Go Fish on the hood of the car.
Yes, they don't let the poker game be interrupted.
Now, calmly, without looking up from his cards, Hot Dog reaches into his magic bag and throws a different pair of nunchucks to Steve.
And Steve and I think it's Steve and Candy are the only people who actually get in the fight. And by the way,
No, it's
guys,
Gypsy Billy.
Okay, because I was going to say, where the fuck has Gypsy Billy been?
He's in the fight. He's been here the whole time. He's been hanging out on the tree and doing the hot yoga with the Fly. And
I know, but you barely even see the guy. Like, This is where I forgot about him.
Mike, he's called Gypsy Billy. He's roaming around.
You're right. Maybe
He
they
never
gave him
stops
that name
moving.
because they're like,
He's a
he also
nomad.
can't be on set all the time, so he's just gonna kind of come in and out whenever he feels like it.
There was a great moment at the end of this fight scene, though, when Steve grabs a guy in like a headlock and then kicks up with his foot and cracks the guy's helmet, just like an egg, like a soft-boiled egg. He just tapped it.
It's so great, but they don't even really pose a challenge. The card game's not even ruined. They win.
And so now we're at a high point where we're looking through binoculars at the compound, because Steve mentions that he knows where the compound is now because he watched the direction the plane was flying. And no, you didn't. You were fighting Slipknot. Nothing gets past Steve. He's always aware of everything.
Yeah, or just go down the one fucking road on the island, Steve.
Nope. I saw where the compound is. I cracked the code. If we just keep going.
It has taken these people 3 fucking days to go 1 mile.
This is like, is it Night Force?
Yes, yeah, where they're just like,
We're
yeah.
like, they're going to go save the guy, but like, it's going to take a month and we're just going to be camping most of the time.
Yeah, we'll just kind of find our way down and...
They're here in this shithole country, South Africa.
You know, for a South African movie, they really just... they really shit all over their own country, man.
Man, this movie needed Pin.
Well, we already said that Gypsy Billy should have been a chicken. Can you imagine if you added a monkey
to
this
rival
mix?
Pin? Yeah. And you have the monkey versus chicken fight at the end of this?
Oh, Marmaduke could have used the monkey. Like, he could have had a pin in this movie, and it would
that
have
would
been
be
amazing.
great.
With that fake beard, Marmaduke looks like he's playing a monkey.
So they're looking for
Like in one of those later Planet of the Apes movies when they didn't have the budget.
Right.
We're like, yeah, just put on the beard. Or as we said, you know, the episode hasn't come out yet, but pretend like you know this. Or as we said in Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, where they couldn't get werewolf costumes, so they were just sent by the studio a bunch of old Planet of the Apes costumes.
Right.
And they told them, yeah, just be creative.
And so we're making a plan of attack. We're going to split into 2 camps. Gypsy Billy and the Fly are the B squad, and the other boys are the A squad. And once again, no girls allowed.
You can't skip the best line of the movie, Bobby. When Hot Dog looks through those binoculars.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the line I said at the top of the episode. And he goes, "What's enough to put you off potatoes forever?"
Yeah. Damn place gives me the creeps. It's enough to put you off potatoes forever.
Oh, Hot Dog.
I laughed so hard at that line I had to pause the movie. Like, I was in tears.
Well,
laughing.
that's definitely where I drew a star on my notes. I was like, this is the line of the film. This sums up this movie.
How is this movie not more popular?
Well, I mean, much like Mind Trap, we're trying to get the word out.
Yeah. Well, this one has a Blu-ray. Well, I guess Mind Trap will too. I don't know about that one. Still suspicious about that Blu-ray Mind Trap just coming out 2 months after a Grindbin episode.
Hey, I'm just happy we could help it get to the masses. I'll be buying a copy.
Except, you know, we could have provided a nice commentary for that movie. Just saying.
That is true.
Just call us up next time, guys, before you release the Blu-ray.
Well, shit,
do
the
it.
episode's longer than the movie. Just hit play.
That's true. That's true. So, no, yeah, they go into teams. Candy doesn't get to go because she's a woman.
Of course.
And I write, even though I have personally seen her kick multiple dudes' asses, including yours.
my own.
Yeah, including yours, Steve. The only person who gets the better of Steve in this movie, spoilers.
Well, that's why he doesn't want her coming.
That's true. Well, both ways.
Well, at least not before him.
Yeah. More ways than one. So the boys penetrate the base under the cover of night.
Hey now. Hot dog. So yeah, Gypsy Billy and the Fly use a grappling hook like they're Batman and Robin.
Okay, so are we to understand that they have been on this island for a month?
Must have been.
And that, yeah, they get over with a fucking grappling hook that he must have brought in his fucking backpack.
Couldn't fly, it floated.
He's been lugging around a big-ass grappling hook. Yeah, that's another problem I have, too, is from this point forward to the end of the movie, the Fly does none of his Doctor Strange hokum.
Yeah.
No. But also,
he's just another lanky, balding guy.
Guys, what were in those suitcases that they brought? Like, how many changes of clothes did they bring? Like, what?
It's just nothing but shirts with deep necklines.
I've never seen a
tight
movie
jeans.
where the good guys
That's it.
I've never seen a movie where the good guys are like, we're gonna go to the bad guy's base, pack your suitcase, we'll need outfits.
Like, we're not going to find a laundromat. You better bring extra.
Bring your toothbrush.
Bring your toothbrush. Also, make sure to bring at least one formal outfit, because you never know. There might be a nice restaurant, and maybe Steve will treat the boys. Yeah, exactly. You never know. So they're penetrating the base under the cover of night and use grappling hooks. And this is my favorite: is Hot Dog's Kevin McAllister version of getting into the base. Everybody else is able to get into the base just fucking fine by sneaking in, but Hot Dog goes to the fucking front gate of the base and he goes, I got a weapons delivery for Mr. Marmaduke.
Yeah, I got it right here. And he's like rooting around in his bag and rooting around. It's like he's making a cotton candy.
I write my notes. I go, I mean, seriously? Like, really?
But it's just a distraction, Mike.
How many fucking door-to-door back weapon delivery men?
Hey, to be fair, though, you've not been to South Africa.
This is... Okay, I haven't, and I hadn't been to Mexico to trip at those pugs, but it seems like a very similar...
I'm just saying, if you don't know the South African dip, you can't judge anything else.
That's true.
Hot dog.
Yeah. Hot dog. And so, yeah, he's rooting around in there like he's trying to catch a catfish. And of course, you know, Jax comes up behind these two guys and goes, gotcha! And slams their heads into each other.
Which means that Gorilla was already in the base. So none of that needed to be done.
It was literally just to get the guy who can't climb the wall in.
Yeah. It was almost like they handed the grappling hook to Hot Dog, and he's like, I ain't doing that shit.
They're like, hold on, what the hell are you talking about? I ain't bringing grappling hooks in here. I'm here to carry nunchucks and tacks.
Dude, I wore my Hot Dog shirt today. There ain't no way I'm fucking ripping this thing. So it's the next day now. It's daytime. Yeah. So where did they fucking sleep? Like, what was the... It's the next day.
They never sleep, not until justice has been served.
And by the way, this isn't even morning. It looks like it's fucking afternoon at this point. And Marmaduke's giving a speech over the megaphone, and
this is the morning announcements, like Meatballs.
Yeah, like when Bill Murray goes, "You campers have not been working hard enough. McDonald's needs their fries."
The McRib is back.
He does actually. Marmaduke says the McRib is back. We're working overtime.
We have to extend work hours.
Don't talk to the Grimace. And so he says, yeah, we're extending work hours. I'm decreasing off hours. And then at the same time, Steve is kind of sneaking around the base. He's just looking at things. And at one point, he stops by some Sea Org guy trying to pump gas, but then he has like some sort of mental breakdown while he's holding the gas pump.
Yeah, the drugs are wearing off for Zac Efron. And he starts, like, his head starts knocking into the gas pump, and, like, he's malfunctioning.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm not your citizen anymore, and he's like, pushing this potato gas all over the fucking place. It's blue. It just looks just like the mind control liquid.
Every liquid on this island is blue.
Do you think, though, that maybe it was that he developed a mind control thing, and he goes, also, it works for gas?
Yeah. That's
like,
really
what was
it.
the chicken and egg in this scenario?
Like, he tripped out on the mind control drug and realized he just poured a bunch into his car.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, how am I going to get to work?
But then it started.
You know what else? Oh, my God, guys, you know what else can be used for gas in diesel cars?
What's that?
I'm not even joking. Used fry oil.
Real life, you hack.
Guys, I really do think this is a McDonald's conspiracy.
We figured it out, dude. You cracked the code.
Da-da-da-da-da.
I'm loving it.
You're going to get Shamrock shanked.
I feel like this is going to be like the fucking end of Sopranos, and I'm just going to hear that song and my life's going to cut to black, dude.
You're going to hear Love Explosion by Minerva.
Yeah.
And so, the boys, so this guy tries to run and he gets, re-injected, put back on plan, and they realize that if they're going to infiltrate, they need to get some costumes, like a proper spy mission.
Hitman style.
And so Gypsy Billy grabs a guy and drags him into a porta potty to change.
Yo, okay, hold on. Gypsy Billy brings a man into a porta potty, fucks him, takes his disguise.
Yeah, because we do the porta potties a rockin' for a minute or two.
Yeah. I didn't see any bruises.
I heard a few grunts though.
Yep. So Billy fucks a guy and takes it. He fucks him out cheerleader style and takes his disguise.
That's Gypsy Billy's purpose for being on this mission. That's his special ability.
You know, I felt like in the third movie, if you had Steve and the boys face the cheerleaders, they'd realize there's one group of men they can't fuck out.
Oh, man. Do.
So
it's like G.I. Ho around here.
Oh, boy. So I love this as
the easiest joke.
Well, Gypsy Billy has his whole thing of, like, you know, doing Hitman style, bringing a guy in the bathroom and fucking him out. Steve just fucking roundhouses a dude in the face. He's walking around with a T-shirt. Like, Steve doesn't blend in at all, and he's just walking around, and some guard comes up and he goes, "You don't belong here." And Steve just
you're not in one of the 2 outfits on this island.
Yeah, and so he just roundhouses him in the face and then just takes his outfit.
It's pretty great because the conversation they have, though, is the guy goes, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He goes, I'm part of Marmaduke's undercover force." And he goes, "Well, do you have any documents?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, documents. I got them right here." And then kicks him in the face.
Yeah. And then Hot Dog and Gorilla are, like, going down a spiral staircase or something. They, like, somehow float a guard up in the air.
Yeah, Gorilla's using the chairlift from earlier. He's pulling on the rope.
And I write, I don't see what happens to that man, and I don't know what they've done with him.
Don't ask questions.
Hot dog.
You do not ask questions. Hot dog. He's in the ball pit.
Somehow they've gotten 2 disguises from him. Because they both walk up in disguises. I'm like, I didn't see them get that Sea Org shirt from anywhere. I don't know about where that came from.
Well, this is a great gag, though, because unfortunately Gorilla has gotten a shirt way too small.
Oh, yeah. And it's like
the sleeves are ripping. He's like hulking out of the shirt.
And then which
is funny because honestly, if you put Gorilla next to like Gypsy Billy, they're the same size.
So then the next thing is like Steve sneaking around the lab. He's looking for the doctor, and then somebody's coming in, and he realizes it's Candy.
And she's already just like carelessly infiltrated. No problem. They're all busy knocking people out and doing Hitman style, and she just walked in.
Yeah, she doesn't have a disguise or anything. And also Steve's like, "What are you doing? I thought I told you no girls." And she's like, "It's my dad. I'm going to rescue him." And he's like, "Okay, I guess you can come along." And so they go and they meet up with Gorilla and Hot Dog. And he gives them orders, right? And they like go off and do their thing, which we'll find out what it is. But then Hot Dog says, "Wait, hold on, Candy. You can't sneak around here without a disguise."
"Don't worry, I'll get you one."
And so he digs into that Kevin McAllister bag, and Bobby, what does he come up with?
Why, he gets a boomerang. This is like Suicide Squad here.
Fucking boomerang?
Why not? And now,
have these people ever heard of a gun?
Of course not. What's the fun of that? I'm no expert in boomerangs, but did he throw it backwards?
Hot Dog started the movie with a gun. He didn't know how to fire it. He just threw it around a room. Actually, he kind of threw that gun like a boomerang.
Yeah, there you go.
And so it's a pretty quick... We just see him throw a boomerang off screen, and then we cut to her in the outfit.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he drags the body of the guy he knocked out, some other Zac Efron that he found.
Yeah.
And he drags him in, and he's like, "Will this work? Because I can get you another one."
Yeah, he gets her one of the Sea Org shirts, so she's going to be a citizen. And this is when they just kind of all... They don't even blend in or anything. They're just kind of walking around in their disguises.
Now that they're in the outfits, they have no desire to act like they're part of this.
Yeah, and then until some, like, guard comes up. You got this, like, guard who will keep showing up. He doesn't really have a name, so I just called him Guard.
This guy looks like Joe Azuzu.
With a little Peter Cushing, good measure.
Yeah, this is Potato Moff Tarkin. It's Grand Moff Tater.
But this guard sees through this thing like it's the Inglourious Basterds. He just looks at me and goes,
"Oh, it's great." They're like, "We found this citizen running around. I think we should take her to Dr. Kane." He's like, "I'm not falling for this shit." So they knock his ass out.
Yeah, you almost expect him to go, "Yeah, buongiorno."
Yeah, I'm Steve DeCoca. Does the hand gesture.
Yeah, he's like, no, there's something wrong. Because they're like, "Yeah, no, we're going to take this lady to go see the doctor. Do you know where he is?" And he goes, "Well, the doctor
like,
just moved to this new lab and everything." And that's what basically is like, "But this doesn't seem right." And then roundhouse to the face.
And so now they're, again, just like casually walking around in their outfits.
God, this is so bad how they just don't care. They just walk wherever people are. They're not sneaking around at all.
Like, they're in the jumpsuits, but they're not wearing belts. Yeah. And they're just sort of like smoking and joking while everyone else is, is in formation.
And everybody knows Steve's not a guard because he's got that jumpsuit fucking zipped down to the crotch.
Yeah, he's showing some neck.
And
also,
like, that is not
Hot Dog is still wearing his backpack over the jumpsuit. This is like there's an episode of Ninja Turtles where they have Casey Jones infiltrate like a Skull and Bones, like like an organization, and so you have Casey Jones in like a nice business suit, but he's still wearing his mask and carrying his golf bag. But he's like, yeah, I'm a member of this secret organization.
I was gonna say it reminded me of the original Inglourious Bastards, where if you've never seen
the Fred Williamson movie,
yes, in that movie. It's a group of guys who are supposed to go behind Nazi lines and blend in with the Nazis, and Fred Williamson is a black man, and it gets brought up at one point. He goes, "How am I going to be a Nazi? I'm black." And they're like, we'll just figure it out.
And we figured that out a couple years later with The Black Gestapo.
Yeah, there you go.
But that whole movie is so wonderful because half the movie they're like, yeah, we picked the wrong guy to come with us. Like, I don't know.
That's actually a pretty good point, Fred. Like maybe Hammer shouldn't have been part of this squad.
The whole movie of the original Inglourious Bastards is them walking around Nazi territory. They're like, why do you have a black guy with you? And they're like, yeah, about that roundhouse to the face.
And so we move on to another room as they're trying to find the doctor, and they have to give their bullshit story to another guard. This guy's got a machine gun, and once again, a dude is not falling for their shit.
Nobody falls for their shit, dude.
Because you take one look at them and go, they don't belong here.
As soon as they walk into a group of people, they're like, no. Nobody wears a V-neck jumpsuit. Like, just everybody knows right away. And so, yeah, like I say, they get caught, and they're going to inject Steve with the potato gas mind control drug, and then put him in the Eames chair.
Send him to the dream world.
And okay, now I was so hoping, because they're going to inject him, and then Steve like starts flexing his arm. I'm like, I so fucking hope
they were gonna break the needle.
Yep. I was like, please, God,
couldn't infiltrate.
Damn it, please bend that fucking needle when you try to put it in that fucking bicep, dude. But no, Marmaduke comes in because he's like, whoa. We all don't need to get that excited around here, okay? Because, guys, don't ruin my main event. I've been promising this card for years, okay?
The Grimace has been promised a good fight.
Yes. This is McDonald Fry Employee Entertainment, okay? We've promised like a WrestleMania type of event, and we're going to deliver. And we finally got our main event, which is Optimus versus Steve.
Oh, man. Steve-O-Mania is running wild even on this island. They know. They know who the star is.
Before we get to Marmaduke Mania, he wants to show Steve around, and he's like, so here's my Sea Org people. I'm teaching them, like, Kung Fu, whatever, South African
his whole
karate.
Middle-aged army.
Yeah.
And he explains his plan for global potato domination.
This is like the
because every supervillain has to explain his plan.
It's like the speech in Ed Wood that Bela Lugosi gives, where he says, he wants to build a race of atomic supermen. It's basically the same type of thing where Marmaduke goes, I've found middle-aged men all around South Africa, fathers who were mistreated by their wives and children, called weak. I taught them karate, and now we are going to poison the water supply and take over the world.
All around the world, fathers who went out for a bag of potato chips and never came home.
And Steve's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, he's just basically not impressed at all. And he's like, all right, fine, Steve, fine. I got a surprise for you, though. I got a dude, and you're going to love him.
And he's like, I'm going to prove that my Optimus is the best in the world, so he must beat you in open combat.
And then we go, well, before Marmaduke Mania, he then shows, he goes, well, I'll at least introduce you to the doctor. So he shows him to the doctor because Marmaduke's a fucking idiot. He shows him to the doctor, and he goes, he lets Steve ask him questions, and I like this. He's like, Doctor, don't you want to leave? And he goes, no, I'm happy.
I'm very happy. And he's clearly under the influence of the drugs. And then Minerva comes in, and she's caught I think her name's Angela, the super hot blonde girl who's been taking photos.
Yeah, remember that lady we just showed for 1 minute in the very beginning of the movie? She's back.
Yeah, and she's the mole, man. She's the operative who's been there to take all the secret photos.
Yeah,
So
how
we're
did
gonna
they
deal
not
with
know
her in the other room.
that this girl was fucking developing film and mailing it? Like,
Well, she had a hall pass. They're not going to question
There you
it.
go.
I guess so. Yeah, and then they start calling it, like, anybody that's from outside, they call an alien.
Yeah, that's their, it's either an alien or a suppressive personality.
And do you have the comment Steve makes to Minerva about her pink hair?
Oh, shit, I didn't write it down.
I didn't write it down either, but he gives her
No.
like a quip. He says something like making fun of her hair, and she just gives him a look like, fuck you.
He says something about, like, wanting to fight her hairstylist or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that's what it is, yeah. And so this is...
So because, Steve's gone through all this trouble and he's knocked out so many people have died so that Steve could get some alone time with the doctor. So what do? We leave him in the room with the doctor.
This was saying, Marmaduke's a fucking idiot, because he goes, hold on, Steve, I got to take care of this. You'll be fine with the doctor, right? You guys aren't going to ask
he
each other any
explains,
questions?
he's like, I got these 2 guards right here, so don't do any funny business.
It's very Dr. Evil.
Yeah. As soon as he leaves the room, which we can see, by the way, this
He's in the
is
background
so
through the window.
amazing, the background work, as you just see Marmaduke, like, lecturing this girl about taking pictures. And Steve just immediately turns to the doctor, and he's like, so, Doc, you're not... Like, the doctor turns to Steve, actually, and he's just like, yeah, so I got a cure.
Okay, so here's the deal. I figured out how it works. I'm not under mind control. I've been off of it for 2 days. Marduk has no idea. And you know what's great about this? There's a guard behind him,
Yeah.
just standing there.
And that big window where you can see Marduk, I mean, you can clearly turn around and see the doctor chatting it up with Steve if you look.
Yeah. I mean, the body language completely changed. He's all loosey-goosey
Yeah.
now, just like, so here's the deal, Steve.
Yeah, he just immediately goes, yeah, I found a cure. We're all good. We're all good.
Don't worry about it.
He goes, yeah,
And so now
even if the plan goes through, we'll be able to cure it. We're fine. We'll be fine. And so he's like, okay, well, we'll keep our cover. Fuck that Mortal Kombat is what I
Damn
write.
right. And from this point to, like, the end of the movie, it's just Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so, I mean, we don't need to go in super detail about
Yes,
all
we
this.
do, and I have it down. Don't you worry about it. I will take the wheel.
Okay,
Here we go.
But Marmaduke does his Vince McMahon as he gets up and welcomes everybody to Marmaduke Mania.
Yeah, he enters the arena. He says, welcome. He throws up the DX, and everybody else does it back at him. And he goes, I got 2 words for you. And everybody goes, suck it.
And he goes, that's not the first time you've all heard that. I know that. I know.
Of course. He's like, I know, it's old. But, and our crew, meanwhile, is down in the dungeon, like, trying to, break against the Iron Gate, trying to get out. It's kind of like Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi, you attack. And during this down there, Candy says something about getting out, and he goes, all right, Candy, or whoever you are.
Yeah, because they explained it.
Because he's figured out.
Yeah, we mentioned
Go
before
ahead.
that the doctor explained that, or Steve told the doctor that, his daughter was here.
And he goes, my daughter's already been here.
Yeah, so he found
She's
out
here
that-
on the island with me.
And he makes this great line where Steve says, the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. And I'm like, are they, Steve? Are they really?
No, he figured it out. He read the script. He's watched Spaceballs, the video.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I got fucking red yarn all over my apartment trying to figure this shit out.
Oh, this shit went all the way to the top. I mean, this goes all the way back to Big Potato.
The only way I figured it out is because at the end of the day, it formed a McDonald's arch.
How did this movie not end in Idaho?
Yeah, the island was Idaho. It's just nobody wants to go there. They
Idaho
just,
Island.
Yeah.
And so once he points that out, she just goes, you know what, there's no time for that now. I'll explain later. Yeah. And he's cool with that. And so here we go. We're going to get into the fights. I've got some notes on it. I'll take us through very quickly. Gorilla, because everyone's going to go one-on-one with somebody. This is the Mortal Kombat tournament. So Gorilla gets paired up with the leader of Operation Skydive, which was, Corey Taylor from Slipknot shows up. And they have a little back and forth, and ultimately Gorilla wins with the old double axe handle to the chest. And he starts pounding his chest and showing his teeth and doing all that gorilla stuff.
But no ear biting.
And this would be an ideal moment for him to have bitten an ear, and we don't do it because at this point the writer had forgotten he said that. And now Gypsy Billy goes one-on-one with the truck driver from earlier who fought at them on the side of the road. And this dude looks too much like Gypsy Billy, and this was that moment that felt like us. And he KOs him with a kick to the back of the head. We now go to Candy Cane versus some woman we haven't met.
Oh, yeah, she just randomly
How was this not Minerva?
I know. Well, I felt like Minerva was like, nah, I ain't doing that shit.
I'm not fighting. Yeah. And so she gives her like a judo flip and then lightly taps her with her foot, and that girl's like, okay, because I'm not even in this movie.
Yeah, it's like a 10-second fight between her and
the script girl.
It's nothing. It's almost like they inserted it. Like, we needed another woman script girl, get in here.
Well, because I was like labeling everything like WrestleMania. I was like Gorilla versus, Operation Airdrop guy. Skydive guy. That's your undercard, which I was like, I said, honestly, I think Hot Dog's more of the curtain jerker. Like I don't
know. You want to open strong. It's like a modern WrestleMania. Yeah. You have like a big match right up front to get the crowd popping.
That's true. Okay.
And so Hot Dog gets the hall monitor from earlier, the one who was like, hey, you got any documentation? And something I'm noticing with this, every last one of these like elite fighters that are coming in here for the final battle are people who already got their asses handed to them by our heroes.
Yeah. And then they get their asses handed to them even worse in these fights.
Hot Dog beats the hall monitor with a Dusty Rhodes bionic elbow.
Nobody even has like a chance. Like there's no hope spots for the bad guys. Like they're just straight up squashed. It's like watching fucking 5 Goldberg matches in a row, dude.
Well, I think Hot Dog was the only one that kind of, he was having
struggled
a hard time.
A little.
Yeah, and then he lucked into a win.
He got that. Dude slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah.
The Fly gets paired up with what looks to me like Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter. And this is a part where I made a note of it. He used none of his hokum.
Nope.
Like he's not floating. He's not teleporting. He's not stretching. He's not doing the yoga fire.
He doesn't need it.
No, he just sort of kicks him a couple times. Like, don't worry about it. And Minerva comments at this point, they're making us look like idiots.
And I wrote, yeah, even Hot Dog won.
Minerva's the only one who gets it.
So then you finally get the main event.
The main event.
Steve
Hogan versus Andre. In this premise, Andre is Hogan. Yeah.
Steve
Rocky versus Thunderlips.
Steve
the flesh
versus Optimus. And this is more of a fair fight because Optimus gets an upper hand and Steve's clearly
Steve
the baby
almost
face.
gets choked out.
He is clearly the baby face in this, right? He's getting hope spots all over the place.
Yep.
But he busts out a move we haven't seen yet, where suddenly he jumps on a trampoline just off screen and turns into Steve Odenkirk.
Yeah, this is...
Because a different dude is doing like this corkscrew forward flip through the air, and it looks like the guy from Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
It really does. And he's even making the same noises.
Yeah. He does like a Kofi Kingston Trouble in Paradise kick. And then finishes off with a curb stomp like Seth Rollins. Look it up if you're not a wrestling fan.
Yeah, the way he ends the fight is he does a bunch of flips in the air and then kicks the dude in the face. Like, Optimus doesn't even block it or anything. He just takes a kick straight to the face.
And this big tree just sort of lays down. He's like, all right, I guess I'm done. And Marmaduke goes, you will not deprive me of my victory. I will have the last laugh. And Steve does like a, look at me. I am the Optimus now.
He does say that. He says, I am the Optimus now.
Like, all right.
He's got the touch.
And he's got the power. Yeah.
This part doesn't make...
He's got the Matrix in his pants.
There you go.
Okay.
And so of course he goes, well, since you've defeated all my greatest warriors, now you have to drink a glass of potato juice or die.
Which, to me, was like, well, no, he could just kick everybody else's ass, probably, but...
Yeah,
right.
He's like, I just won. I beat everybody. How about I just go, no?
No, but he goes, yeah, sure.
And so now he's been tatered. He's in the mind control.
And I gotta say, wait, hold on, though. He drinks it out of a wine glass, which is fucking amazing. Isn't he sold it like a wine glass?
He should have, like, swirled it and given it a sniff first.
Seeing as how Steve doesn't drink, he wouldn't know how to do that, so...
Exactly. He doesn't know. He's a square. And this Flanders doesn't party with our potato juice. And so now that he's under the mind control, Marmaduke goes, now kill your friends. And so the friends all go, oh shit, and they square up to fight the new Optimus. And they all hit him at the same time once. And then they pick him up and throw him like a javelin.
Yeah, and he lands on Marmaduke and Minerva.
It's the fastball special from the X-Men.
There you go.
And Steve...
Colossus threw Wolverine at him.
Steve just chokes. He gets
him in a sleeper hold.
Yeah, he gets Marmaduke in a sleeper hold.
Like Roddy Piper.
And I'm like, okay, hold on. Now, either the doctor gave Steve the cure, or Steve is so buff that potato juice mind control has no effect on him. I would like to believe it's the latter.
When the doctor earlier said that he figured out an antidote for it, they should have shown him give some to Steve.
Yeah, he gave him a bunch of vials or something that said this would help you out or something like that. But he did give him
and so
some,
I guess off camera, Steve had some.
No, I just think that he's just so buff.
I like that explanation better. Yeah, he's too much. It's just,
Like, it didn't even affect him.
Yeah, nothing.
And so he gets thrown like a javelin, puts him in the chokehold, and then he grabs the microphone and goes, now tell all of them that they're free. Tell the Sea Org that they're free. And he goes, okay, all right, you're free, fine. He goes, now tell them New Babylonia doesn't even exist. He's like, okay, all right, New Babylonia doesn't even exist. He goes, now tell them you pooped your pants and Steve Chase is the coolest. all right, I pooped my pants and Steve Chase is the coolest. Tell him you still wet the bed. And so now that they're free of the mind control, literally because he said, all right, fuck it. You guys aren't under mind control anymore. So now the police academy's fighting the guards.
Yeah, it all breaks
And so it just
down.
looks like Police Academy versus Ghostbusters, looking at their outfits.
Yeah, but Marmaduke and Minerva are not having any of this, so they run to their mini helicopter to make an escape, and this is
Well, all hell's
so
breaking loose.
incredible.
It's like the Central Park scene in The Warriors. People are running in every direction. Someone's like, it was the Warriors. They did it.
But
and so
about
then we
to-
get to
they're about
Go
to
ahead.
take off in the helicopter.
and you get to see Steve Odenkirk again because Steve hit the trampoline and did the same corkscrew, this time over the wall.
Yes, but as they're about to take off, all of a sudden Minerva starts the engines, and then the blade's not moving because Gorilla has held the blade with his bare hands. He has stopped a helicopter from working by just grabbing the blade, which I was like, dude, he just fucking one-up Steve, man.
Oh, yeah. Forget it. Steve's the beta now. Yeah. I'm the Optimus now.
Yeah, Steve's the Rodimus.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you almost want to have him turn to him and goes, who's the Optimus now? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Minerva gets scared and just runs away, and then Candy kicks her ass, so she does get her comeuppance.
Yeah,
right?
she gets thrown into like a cross arm breaker. We're doing like MMA shit.
And then Gorilla keeps that helicopter grounded while Marmaduke is sitting
The
in
guards, yeah, the guards run up there and they're like, "We got you, Mr. Marmaduke." And so they aim their guns, and then Gorilla just lets go and ducks, and they blow up the helicopter.
there. And Marmaduke has a very, like, anticlimactic death because Steve didn't kill him. He just died by random helicopter explosion. I was like, oh, I was hoping for a big fight. But no.
No,
No.
we just blow up a dummy in the front of a helicopter.
And then that guard guy from before who was knocked out comes up to the doctor in the lab.
Oh, Joe Azusa.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
says to him, he goes, the formula or your life. And this is so incredible. Chuck, do you want to
is
take
sweet.
this?
This is what I call the money shot of the movie. The guard pulls out the gun in slow motion and he cocks it, pulls it back, and you get your probably the first bullet time scene in movie history. And you just watch the bullet slow-mo spin going towards the doctor, and out of nowhere comes Steve flying through the air with his piece of metal and jumps it and deflects the bullet.
It's like a metal stand.
Yeah, it's great.
Like if you're like first chair in band at school,
Yeah.
you get this for your music notes.
Yeah.
And I don't
And
really
so
know what
then he's
happened
just
to
kind
the guard. I can't remember. Did he just disappeared? Did he get reflected?
We never deal with him
He just
at
vanished.
all. We just deflect a bullet, and he never
Yeah.
existed. He was only in your mind.
He's like the Spinal Tap drummer, dude. He spontaneously combusts at the buffness of Steve as he blocked
Well,
that
here's the
bullet.
thing. I have a theory about why we don't see the guard get dispatched. When we come back in and he's aiming the gun at the doc, if you look at what the doc's got in his hand, that looks like a bong. So I think he's using potato juice as bong water.
Oh.
And this whole Steve never came back for the doctor. This is all just the doctor tripping out, man.
Yeah.
Because he's smoking potatoes now.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what happens if I take it this way?
And he wakes up and they're like, more fries, Doc. Keep making those fries.
And that's why, like, the bullet has no evidence on it that it's been fired out of a gun. It's just sort of like this slow motion, unfired round going through the air. That's why Steve comes flying in, I guess, through the window, holding a music stand that he got from outside.
Okay, so that
none of it makes sense because none of it's happening.
That's why when the movie makes more sense because the movie ends with the doctor waking up on this factory floor, and then he looks up to see Hamburglar and Grimace and Ronald, and he goes, "I just had the craziest dream, and you were there. You were there."
And then they go out. The camera goes out the window, and you see Steve standing there, and he smirks and puts on the Jack in the Box head.
Yeah, roll credits.
You just hear bum, 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 as he takes off.
I almost feel like the doctor was going to turn to Steve, and he's like, "So, Steve, did you take that cure?" And he's like, "A cure?
Oh no,
a cure!"
And so, the cure. There have been other Steves.
Do you think at some point Demon Cop came to this island looking for his cure?
I think so.
After singing Crazy Life.
I think the Demon Cop was the optimist for a minute until he slowly died singing Crazy Life. Holy shit,
Bobby,
all of our heroes.
I just figured it out. That potato juice man with enough fucking demon AIDS.
Oh no. That's what happened.
It went to Colorado. They got a bad batch of McDonald's fries, and that's how it all started. And that crazy German guy, Bloodhound, was just trying to stop it, man. So no, the movie actually ends by the boys come into the room after Steve blocked the bullet, and they're like, "Yeah, it's all good, dude. You saved the day."
Well, what's great about that too is Steve is laying on the floor after that, and you see one hand reach down and grab it, and you see a foot come out of nowhere. It's
oh yeah,
God.
He has a choice of the hand or the foot.
Yeah,
and that's when you remembered. I needed his feet.
Yeah.
So the movie ends with them all just hanging out with these women, like Marmaduke's women. And they got their Jeep.
Well, specifically, it's the three women that are there. Are the doc is there with his real daughter, who we haven't seen yet in the movie. It's just they got an extra in the Sea Org shirt to be like, yeah, I'm the daughter they were talking about. And then we have the blonde lady who was the photographer, the initial double agent. And this is where Candy explains. She goes, "Look, I'm also a double agent like this lady."
And Steve goes, "Knew all along."
He's like, "Oh, I knew that."
He says,
"Yeah, totally.
I knew that all along."
From the very beginning of the movie. The second he met her, he's like, "Double agent, don't worry about it."
Yeah, that's why I wrote my notes. Like, of course Steve knew she was worked for the government.
Now, are you guys ready for a callback to end all callbacks?
Tell us, Mike.
Well, Hot Dog walks onto the scene, and you know what he's found?
What's he found?
He's found that parrot.
Of course.
And Hot Dog and that parrot are now a pair, and Hot Dog is wearing a shirt that says his own name on it.
In fact, part 3, A Very Dangerous Man, was just about Hot Dog and the parrot traveling around.
And then there's like a big joke about who gets to drive the car as they're driving away.
Yeah, Steve's like, why doesn't somebody else drive for a change? And then they cut to like sped up Benny Hill sequence of the car driving erratically.
Yeah.
And the parrot is complaining.
And then you hear
the parrot's like, who let him drive?
Because it's Gorilla that's driving, I believe.
Yeah.
And you just hear like a crash sound effect in the credits.
And they all die.
Yeah, they all die. I don't think we need to go around for recommendations. We all recommend it. And this show's getting very long, but do you guys hear that sound?
Yeah, this is one of our longest episodes. I do hear that sound, and I think it's pretty simple. I think that, we're talking about a mind control drug. I think that we've seen a familiar yellow van tearing ass down a dirt road with potatoes falling out the back of it.
Yeah. This episode has gone so long. I agree with Bobby's. Chuck, do you have one, though?
Yeah, actually I do. I was along those same lines. I figure, Bobby and DeVito hear about this little island in South Africa, however that's possible, with this mind control potato. So they go there, it's set up, but Bobby catches his eye on this pretty pink poof. So he puts the moves on Minerva. Hey, you're the studs. Of course, Marmaduke sees this, is totally upset, and demands that DeVito and Bobby must fight the Optimus before they get with drugs. And of course, Optimus just destroys both of them. But he also scalps Bobby. So now,
oh my God.
As a trophy, he hands this to Marmaduke. And Marmaduke's like, this is a great trophy. Well, how do I display this? He decides to dye it and glue it to his face as a beard.
Yes. Wow. That's amazing. That explains so much.
Well, Chuck, before we end this episode, do you have anything you want to plug to the Grindbin audience?
Actually, no, I don't.
Aside from your father.
Yeah, well, yeah. Thanks, Dad. This is all because of him. Remember that, and you guys should be lucky to have a job.
Well, thank you.
Man. Do we answer to Chuck now? Is he like middle management? Hey, anyone listening to this, most of you guys know where to find us. Yo, we're on Facebook, Instagram, all forms of social media. Listen to us on iTunes. Check out our Patreon. We got mini bin episodes coming up. We'll tell you more about it in another episode because we got to go. So thanks for listening, everybody. We love each and every one of you. And Bobby, pass the potatoes.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team.